Hey, what time is it? It's
Podblast
Podblast
time!
time! Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there from the Nostalgic Podblast. I hope your special day is going well. Bit of a late start today because I had plans with my dad and family. So I apologize for that, about an hour late. Want to thank, of course, our friends at BK on the Air, Barry King and Alan Sanders, for letting me be a guest star on their radio show on WBHF Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until noon. Hope to be back. That's 3 weeks in a row. I feel like a special guest star, like Jonathan Harris, but I'm not nefarious. I'm not like the nefarious Dr. Zachary Smith or Heather Locklear. Remember that show she did, Melrose Place? She was also deemed a special guest star. Well, I'm special, all right, but I'm special in the head. I'm a little slow. Sincerely, hope your Father's Day is going well. We got a special Father's Day planned for you on the old Pod Blast for our audience members. Grateful for each and every one of you out there spending your day with us. Maybe your dad's gone on to greener pastures. Well, hopefully we'll help you remember him fondly. Maybe there's a show or movie that you both enjoyed together. We'll cover. We've got a lot of clips. And actually, Al and Tom are going to be with us today. I'm going to play a little bit of our Father's Day special from last year. And it's sometimes, this is the first time I've heard it, since we recorded it live. And I may have to do like a dearly departed broadcaster would do on his program and say, stop the tape when something is said that I disagree with, and I'll pause it and interject. But I'm going to be live, and there's a lot of new material too at the end of the program, a lot of special clips, and some hints might be in the background. Those that are watching on YouTube or on Facebook in the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group, you'll notice some pictures behind me, and that's kind of foreshadowing about some of the things that we'll cover today that all pertains to Father's Day. Now, I don't know. Before I get started on Father's Day, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you have been watching Loki on Disney Plus. I won't blither on and on about this, but I think it's going really well. Really enjoy it. But if you were listening to last week's show, I talked about my disdain for the song I'm Holding Out for a Hero from, I think, Footloose. I just can't stand it. And our topic last week was beloved television shows that lasted 2 years or less. And I played a little bit of the theme to the song Cover Up, which only lasted a handful of episodes because one of the stars was killed in a set stunt with a blank, misfire, like he held up to his head. Anyway, but I played a little bit of the theme and I said, I hate this song. I'm going to cut this short. I can't take it. I never liked the original or this terrible cover. And then they featured it in episode 2 of Loki. Thought that was funny. I can't stand that song. I'm sorry. I just think it's just a horrible, horrible song. Now, I think I'm going to flash back. Let's go ahead and get started. This is only about an hour and 20 some minutes, but I'm going to be right here with you live because I haven't heard this since it was live. But I do remember I pulled a lot of good clips. But if Al or Tom say something that I don't like, I will have to interject and add some commentary. It'll be like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or something. So without further ado, let's get started with this. We can get back here live, but I will stop the tape. If I see you commenting, I will stop the playing of last year's Podblast and interject and converse with you. And please call anytime. 770-438-1050 is the number to call in today. That's 770-438-1050. Got some surprises at the end of the show. But without further ado, here's our Father's Day tribute special.
I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out.
Well, Father's Day is this Sunday? Yeah. When did Father's Day start? I think it was started by Hallmark, I think.
Color this man father. I'm gonna color him love. was a kid, my old man, he didn't help either, you know. The time I asked my old man if I can go ice skating on a lake, he told me to wait till it gets warm.
I've got to color this man father. I'm gonna color him love. I've got to color him father.
Do you remember your first heart-to-heart, your man-to-man talk with your father?
Yeah.
I remember sitting down with my dad when he tried to explain the birds and the bees, and it was a very touching and touching experience. Unfortunately, it came after my first divorce.
Color this man father. I'm gonna color him love. I've got to color him father.
The gifts we give on Father's Day seem impersonal and absurd. A necktie? What is this, 1950? I guess giving dear old Dad a noose would be a little on the nose. So let's give him a
50s.
silk noose with a goofy pattern.
I've got to color this man father. I'm gonna color him love. I've got to color him father.
Let's take a look at the pros and cons of Father's Day. Pro, he spent 20 years teaching you how to be a man. Con, you'll spend 20 years teaching him how to use an iPad. Well, that's comes with the territory. Pro, looking for a gift that says, Dad, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye. I know we've argued, but I'm so proud to know you, and I'm so lucky that you're the man who taught me to be the person I am today. Con, seeing a tie and going, perfect.
I've got to color this man father. I'm gonna color him love.
Hey, fellas,
Color him father.
Yeah, Dad.
Dads
you know what
deserve
time it
all
is?
that.
It's Podblast time, Father's Day edition.
Hey, I think it is.
All right.
All right. That was a great little opening I
That
put
was
together.
great. That was just cool.
Oh, it was cool. It had a bunch of everybody in it, didn't it? I think it did. We already have a caller.
got a call.
I got a
That's
call. You
crazy.
guys talk and
It's
I'll get the
crazy
phone,
we
okay?
have a caller. But anyway, this is the Father's Day special Pod Blast. And you're eating, and I don't know why you got a mouthful of food right now when we're trying to do a Pod Blast.
Because I can.
Oh, because you can. Okay. All right. So you were sitting here with Al. Say hi, Al.
I am here. We had a phone call standing by.
Okay. We have Al, and we have me.
The only dad in the room.
I'm the only dad in the room. That's right. And we have. That's right. We have Chance
Chance is
Bartels.
here.
Stop
And I'm
the
wearing
tape.
my
Stop
big dummy
the tape.
Big dummy shirt on.
Red
That's pretty
Fox.
cool.
That's right. That's
Stop
exactly
the tape.
right.
We'll get to him later in the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm no dummy. Okay. There's a difference between being an idiot and a dummy. I don't appreciate that little slight, and you'll figure out why Tom's no longer with the nostalgic Pod Blast. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Get back to the show. I just don't appreciate these little comments like that or talking over my clips, which I think unfortunately occurred in this Father's Day special. But let's get back to our Father's Day tribute special.
So who's waiting to talk to us already? I mean,
We have Paula. She's actually calling from Jacksonville,
we
Florida.
didn't even get into the show. Hey, Paula. Hey, Paula, how you doing?
Hey, Paula, you here?
How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good so far.
So far.
We just started.
So far. How's your Father's Day going, Paula?
My Father's Day is going wonderful. It's very hot down here, so we're not doing any outdoor activities.
You know what's hot and humid here too.
It's hot here, too.
Yeah. But you know, Al got a new air conditioning system in his house.
I finally had a new AC system installed last
so it's
week.
cool where we're sitting right now.
So that's cool.
He hasn't had central HVAC in 10 years. In
That's
this
right.
house.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen Alan like 50 years. We used to live together down at the beach. And
Yes.
Yeah.
It saved my life when our heater went out. And
Ah.
my roommate and I went over, and he saved our life.
Oh, yeah. They spent the night, because, it gets really cold in the wintertime on the beach.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
she came over and
That's
spent the
good.
night.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's a good thing. Good
Yes,
thing to
we had a
have.
great
This is in
time.
Virginia, Al, right?
No, North Carolina.
So what? So
Wilmington.
Wilmington. Wilmington. Riceville Beach.
So Paula, who's your favorite television dad?
With the Waltons.
The Waltons.
Walt, he was caring. He was real. He had all these children, and he seemed to never get that upset.
Ah. you know why?
And you're talking about John Walton.
Yes.
Yes, of the Waltons.
That's because they had Grandpa Walton living there and Grandma and everybody, and he didn't have to worry about it because they would take care of the kids because he was always out doing something.
Grandpa Walton, Will Greer. the
Yeah, Will
actor
Greer.
there.
Yeah.
Didn't his family. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like the dream.
Yeah.
You have all these relatives live in the same house and get along. Really?
True story. And you know who created the Waltons? Anyone know? I know.
Earl Hamner.
There you go. Earl Hamner Jr.
Yeah.
Right. Now, didn't he narrate them too? Didn't he narrate them too, as well?
And speaking of Earl Hamner, one of my good friends from Wilmington, excuse me, is Latham Hamner. That's his uncle. I mean, Latham and I are friends that we go back a long time.
Ah, yeah. Wow.
So,
wow, that's fantastic.
He lives in Raleigh now.
Any particular episode that stands out to your liking?
No, but I like them all. You know, it's like I don't have a favorite because there would be another that would come along and take its place.
Right.
And
Chance, I think that show was on one of the TV stations over the retro channels.
Yeah,
The
Me
wall.
TV.
Me TV.
And I love the theme song. And who could forget the ending? Good night, John Boy. Good night, Grandma.
Yeah. Who could ever forget that? And there were so many parodies on that. Even Benny Hill did one.
And I like Ellen Corby, Grandma Walton. She was a great actor.
You know, she was in a lot of TV shows. I actually saw her yesterday in a Rifleman episode with Chuck Connors. I mean, Ellen Corby, she was been around a long time.
She was in the Invaders pilot playing an alien invader.
Yeah. She was really. She's one of these ladies you see on TV and stuff. You recognize her. You know, you might not remember her name, but you see her in all these different shows.
Yeah.
She stayed really busy.
Yeah, she
I
really.
did have one. The tuberculosis. My mama went to have to leave because she had tuberculosis.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the theme song right
Yeah,
here?
it's a theme song. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A Laura Moore production. Laura Moore did Eight Is Enough. Dallas back in those days was a big production company. Laura Moore Productions.
Yeah, they did. They did it all.
And what about Little House on the Prairie? Another great show with a great pioneering dad. Michael Landon's character.
Yeah, and that was after Bonanza.
Correct. Right after,
Who,
directly
you
after
know,
Bonanza ended, Michael Landon
Ben
started.
Cartwright was a great dad in Bonanza.
All
You know,
right.
he kept those boys in line. You know, Ben Cartwright.
That's true.
Nobody could ever get married because they all died.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
true,
look,
too.
Tom has Little House pulled up. You can continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Paula.
Excuse me for coughing.
I never watched it a whole lot. I did watch it,
But it was popular.
It was popular, yeah.
9 seasons plus a lot of TV movies. I have them all on Blu-ray. I'm sad to admit. But they're great. It's great. I like Nellie. I like the interaction between Nellie and Laura Ingalls Wilder. Her nemesis, Nellie, the spoiled brat kid.
Yeah.
Her parents ran the general
Well, you know,
store.
funny thing about Nellie is there was a tour in L.A. called Dearly Departed Tours. And they used to give you rides in hearses and take you around to the cemeteries and show you all the stars.
Weird.
Yeah. And she was the...
I would love that.
She
The tour director?
Yeah, she was the tour director
Oh, good damn.
of one of them.
And her older brother was the kid in Land of the Giants, but big deal.
Yeah. I don't know. Paul, who's your favorite movie dad, real quick?
Oh, you know I have to go with Gressman.
Who's that now?
Is it? I'm not mispronouncing it. It's my southern accent, isn't it?
Probably. Yes. Say it again.
What? Who is it, Paula?
Wally World. And
Oh, Griswold. We have
Griswold.
that clip. Wait, hang on, there's some bad language here. Hey, if there's any kids in the room out there in Facebook land or
Lordy.
fistfulofradio.com land, listen to this
Yeah,
clip.
I'll tell you.
This is a great clip from the very first
I'll tell you
vacation.
something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest. It's a quest for fun. I'm gonna have fun, and you're gonna have fun. We're all gonna have so much fucking fun when we need plastic surgery to remove our goddamn smiles.
Sorry about that.
You'll be whistling Symphony Doodah out of your assholes. I gotta be crazy. I'm on a pilgrimage to see a moose. Praise Marty Moose. Holy shit.
Dad, you want to ask
I mean,
for
it was
something?
funny.
Don't touch.
Oh well, it's
That's where he snaps at the end of the original vacation. Love it.
Was that who you were talking about, Clark Griswold?
well, the only person that put their grandmother up on the roof and ride.
That's right, and he just gotten through talking about
Imogene Coco
yeah,
played the
Imogene
grandma.
Coco. Yeah, Imogene Coco. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for calling us, Paula. We do
Paula,
appreciate
it's
it.
always good to hear from you because we're friends from a long time ago, and I appreciate you calling and listening and watching.
Call anytime.
Love ya. Happy Father's
Okay,
Day.
Okay. Bye, Paula. Bye-bye.
And if you want to call us, Chance, what's the number again?
It is 678-615. 7560. That's 678-615-7560.
It sounds like a bunch of radio stations.
We'll have a little quiz here. I was going to give you some TV dads and see if you can name the show.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
All right.
We didn't rehearse this. This is
Well,
cool.
we didn't rehearse it at all. So go ahead. Hit us with it.
This is an easy one. Danny Thomas.
Oh, Make Room for Daddy. This syndicated the Danny Thomas Show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That wasn't much of a quiz.
Jim Andrews.
Jim Andrews. Oh, you want
Jim Anders or Andrews?
Anderson?
Anderson, that's it.
Well, father knows best.
I can't read my own handwriting.
You can't,
Jim Anderson.
Yeah, that's the sad part. You can't read your own handwriting yet. Father knows best. That was Jim.
Robert Young?
Robert Young, yeah.
And Champs will know this.
Yes.
Steve Douglas.
My Three Sons.
Played by
Fred McMurray.
Fred McMurray. Now,
he was a
interesting
film
point,
star.
Interesting point. He's buried in he's buried on Santa Monica Boulevard, right behind the Paramount Studios.
Really?
At Hollywood Forever, and right above him is John Candy.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, that's
Didn't you know that?
Here's a extra trivia for you there.
Here's a real hard one.
Okay.
Andy Taylor.
Oh, let me think. Andy Griffin. Mayberry RFD. No, I'm sorry.
Let's see if Chance can get this one. Tom Corbett.
Nope. Nope.
I don't know.
Tom Corbett. You don't know?
Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Oh, yeah, Bill Bixby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill Bixby, yeah.
Alex Stone. Alex Stone.
The Donna Reed Show.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. That's good. That's a good one. Come on, you got another one?
Rob Petrie.
Oh, that's Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van
the Dick
Dyke.
Van Dyke Show.
Come on. Yeah.
Here's a hard one.
Okay.
Archie Bunker.
All in the family. Carol O'Connor, all in the family.
All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Herman.
Herman of the Monsters.
Herman of the Monsters. Let's listen to a clip from Herman. It's a really good Father's Day
It is a good
clip from Herman.
The lesson I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. You can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.
There you go.
Wow.
Wasn't that great?
That's like
Isn't that a
almost
good clip?
pre-MLK. When was that? 65?
That's a great clip.
60, yeah, 64, 65. Yes,
Content of your character.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That was a great clip.
It was a good little clip from good old Herman Munster. Fred Gwynn.
Do you have a favorite Father's Day song?
A song?
A song.
Well, the one.
Well, my favorite was when we played.
Yeah, the one we played.
Call Him Father by the Winstons.
Well, the Winstons. Yes.
That's a great song.
That's the one that comes to mind. I mean, there's a bunch of country songs.
I think of Chapman, Cats in the Cradle.
Harry Chapin. I mean, Cats in the Cradle is my favorite.
You said Chapman. It's Chapin.
It's Harry
Well,
Chapin.
excuse me,
And,
Mr. Williams. I'm thinking of
mercy.
our friend Jamie Chapman.
Yes,
how
of course.
about James Brown? Papa's got a brand new bag.
Yeah, well, that's classified as. I guess that you could classify that as.
And John Lennon on his last album did a song called "Beautiful Boy." He was not much of a dad, but when Sean was born, he wrote that song and he became a really good dad.
Yeah.
It's called "Beautiful Boy" from the fantasy. Was it
Double Fantasy?
Double Fantasy album. Yeah.
And he, I don't know whether he ever really reconciled with Julian, full blown. I know that him and Yoko, Julian and Yoko did, but of course Yoko was not his mother.
And another great song was actually from the Donna Reed Show, Paul Peterson, "My Dad."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's a great song.
That
My
is a
Dad.
very good song.
Hey, Becky. I see Becky Ross Smith out there. I see a lot of people watching. Thanks for tuning in. I know you could be doing other things on Father's Day. It means a lot. Let's get back to the show.
That's a great dad song.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. But I still like "Cats in the Cradle," but "My Dad" was good.
Hey, Wesley Millsap. Thanks for tuning in today.
My Dad, a piece of that?
Yeah, sure do. But my dad, Paul Peterson, had a. Did he have much of a recording contract after that
his
song,
other hit
or-
was "She Can't Find Her Keys." Remember that song? He recorded on the Columns record label. There was a division, a division of Columbia Records.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to. You got to get past the stupid ads sometimes if you're using Facebook, and that's what I'm
YouTube.
Waiting, that's what I'm waiting to. What did I say?
You said Facebook, but I know what you meant. You meant YouTube.
Same thing. Same kind of thing.
No.
This is a big hit.
Yeah. Colpix. Colpix was a lady.
Is that Colpix? Yeah.
Colpix.
I have the 45. Here we go. Great song.
Does he still go out singing though? I know he makes appearances at the cons and stuff.
He's probably not singing anymore.
But do you think but it'd be cool. I bet he can still sing. I bet he still has some chops. Come on. James Darren still does.
Well, he was a big TV star, and so they wanted to,
Well,
get him
Shelley
out there.
Fabares did songs too.
Well, she
I
did
mean,
Johnny Angel.
Yeah.
That was her big hit.
Yeah. So and the reason we're talking over it is so we won't get pulled from Facebook.
Yeah, that's my
The
guess.
audio's great in this clip, stereo.
It is.
Well,
Yeah,
the other hit song he had was a song called "She Can't Find Her Keys."
See, I don't remember.
You remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember. She can't find her keys.
Yeah,
Let's
Paul
see if-
Peterson.
She,
It's in there.
I believe it. Find her keys. That's
And while you do that, I'll check Facebook. Yes, you
No,
can't
that's-
find her keys.
Yeah, well, here it is. I mean, that's an interest. And here he is on Shindig.
It was a big
singing
hit
it.
back in the time.
Yeah. So this audio's not going to be as good as what we just had.
She said just a moment, please.
I don't- I-
can't find my keys. And here's what happened while he's waiting
What's
for
wrong?
a tree.
Pulls out lipstick.
I don't. It's a good song. I just don't remember
It's
that
cute,
one.
yeah.
That one I missed that one. I guess.
My dad was really his biggest hit.
Yeah, that was, I missed that one. And then of course
She can't find her keys.
Yeah, but then of course there was like you said, Shelley Fabares on the Donna Reed show. So
Now, look, some of the early TV shows that dealt with dads, and we talked about it before the show.
Oh yeah, like well, do you have one in mind? Al?
Bachelor Father with John Forsythe.
That's what I was going to mention. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Here's Johnny Angel.
I'm playing Johnny Angel now.
This is Shelley Fabares from the Donna Reed show.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I remember that one for sure.
Yeah, that was a hit.
That was a good one. That was a very
Made
good
it to number one.
She could
it did.
sing.
Yeah.
She could sing.
Oh,
She,
yeah.
she had the chops. But did she do any other hits?
I don't
beyond that?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know that she did.
Like
any.
Leslie Gore, one hit wonder.
Yeah, but we were talking about, John Forsythe was the voice of Charlie on Charlie's Angels.
That's true. That's true.
And was that a big mystery? Because they really palmed that off in the late 70s, early 80s. Like, who is the man behind the speaker? We all knew it was
in the 50s he had
John Forsythe.
Bachelor Father.
1957 to 1962.
Yeah.
Oh, listen.
Starring John Forsythe.
Yeah, John Forsythe.
He had a
This
great
is Beverly
voice.
Hills,
Here's from the
California,
Probably
pilot.
listen to him.
carved out of the wilderness by a movie producer. Its natives lead a simple life of
Charlie from
tranquility,
Charlie's Angels. The voice
from
of
which
Charlie.
comes the term tranquilizer pills.
Of course, in the
This
show.
is a typical native watering hole. Untouched by civilization, the natives cling to their traditional way of life. And believe me, some of the traditions are worth clinging to.
Of course, it shows a wonderful girl walking.
I
up
like
from
this show. I remember
swimming
watching
pool.
it as a kid.
Oh, it was. But I remember the opening that they were driving in the car.
Yeah, that was later. That was from season one or
Well,
four
that was
seasons.
season one, but it's an opening. I had not seen it. It was all animated. I had not seen that one.
And I don't think it
before.
had a laugh track, or did it?
Yeah, it did.
In the beginning,
no,
it might
no,
not
it
have.
did have a
It
laugh
did,
track.
It did have
Okay.
a laugh track. Yeah, it did have a laugh track.
Well, back in those days, everything was shot on film. It wasn't shot in the studio audience.
That's
Well, that's
right.
true.
That was
That's
a
very
Norman
true.
Lear thing.
Was it?
Yeah, 1970
Did he
when
actually-
All in the Family.
Did he start that?
Yeah, he's the biggest pioneer of live in front of a studio audience sitcom production.
Yeah, like at the end of All in the Family, recorded live before.
Yeah, Three's Company. I mean, he started. That wasn't a Norman Lear show, but shows in that era were all done before a live studio audience.
Yes.
Even Happy Days originally was filmed, and then season 3 they're recording from a live studio audience.
Which they run that on MeTV on Sundays.
Yeah, for the summer of May.
Another early TV show was Father Knows Best.
True.
You know,
True.
that was a big hit.
Father knows best. But you try to watch them, like I commented this past week on Facebook. Kathy, she must have cried every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because she just, I mean, every episode she was crying. The youngest daughter.
You know, what was the guy who played the...
You mean Bud?
Bud. You know what movie Bud was in?
What?
It's a classic movie. I bet you can't tell me.
Which?
When he was a lot younger.
I don't know.
A classic movie.
I don't know.
Day of the Earth Stood Still.
Mm-hmm.
He
Was it really?
he was Patricia Neal's son. He's the one that had the train, you know, and then Michael Rennie comes in. He says, "Remind me sometimes I'll show you a train that doesn't use tracks."
Really?
But it was him. Yeah.
Here's the Father Knows Best opening.
Well,
with Kent cigarettes.
The only cigarette with a micronite filter.
The only
Kent
cigarette.
Regular and the new king-size Kent present the story of a man, his home,
And he's smoking
and
a
his
cigarette.
family.
I've never seen this
Starring
opening.
Robert Young
He's smoking a cigarette, looking at his watch.
and Jane Wyatt.
James
Spock's mom in Star Trek in the future.
Yes.
And he later went on to do Marcus Welby, MD.
Yes, he did.
Where he was a doctor.
Eleanor Donahue. She was a dish.
In Father Knows Best.
I've never seen that.
My
opening.
mom's favorite show, one of her favorites.
I think Antenna TV runs that still.
Yeah,
What
FETV, because I see it. I watch it every
Oh,
morning.
okay.
I watch it every morning.
Well, what was who played Bud? What was his name? Anyway, he was in Day of the Earth Stood Still.
Okay,
like I
people
said.
out there watching, who played Bud?
Yeah, he was in Day of the Earth Stood Still.
Eleanor Donahue went on to be in the Andy Griffith Show.
Yes, he did.
She dated Andy Griffith.
But she
Well, that's another great dad show too.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
Well,
Now, she
Andy Griffith.
she still does a lot of cons and stuff. I don't know that the guy who played Bud does do any cons anymore, but I know Tony Dow and the Beaver
They do
a lot, you know. And
it's hard to imagine.
Billy Gray was Bud.
Billy Gray, that's right. Okay, it's hard to imagine Tony Dow is like he's 73 or 74.
Yeah.
God, you know, it's just like.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you watch. I like to watch.
Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver every
I
morning.
think we have a clip too, but you know what a great show.
No, we're going to close the show out with that clip.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. And there's always a classic joke. Ward, you're a little hard on the Beaver last night, but I digress.
Yeah, and then there was still the Beaver, which they came back and tried to reprise the original Beaver cast, or as much of the cast that was still
And
around.
I loved Eddie Haskell character. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Eddie.
Hi, Mrs. Cleaver. He was such a little suck up.
He
you
just
know.
passed away.
He did, unfortunately.
Yes, he
And
did.
he was a policeman.
Yes, he was. Retired policeman. Yeah, from the Los Angeles Police Department. So he was quite talented guy.
he was
really.
You're looking lovely today, Mrs. Cleaver. Oh, those cookies smell so good. There we go.
Starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont,
As the father,
Tony Dow,
as the brother,
and Jerry Mathers as the Beaver.
and you know what? The funny part about that show was everything. It was well written. It was a very well written show. One of my favorites was when Beaver writes away and gets the accordion, and doesn't tell anybody about it. And he finally gets caught because he didn't pay for it, obviously. He hid it in a closet. And the accordion salesman, I forget the actor's name, came and knocked on the door. And Ward Cleaver knew nothing about it, neither did June. And June went upstairs and had opened the closet. And here comes the accordion bouncing down the stairs because it fell out of the closet. So it was a good episode.
Yeah.
And they're on every morning on MeTV, two of them back to back.
They run them back to back. Yeah.
And Ken Osmond's the actor who just died. That's the real name of Eddie Haskell. Ken Osmond.
Yeah.
Former policeman.
Oh, he was fun.
And everybody liked Larry Mondello, but then again, we're here talking about fathers, not Larry Mondello. But
Well, another character actor, he was a dad too, was Richard Deacon in the show.
yes,
He was a funny man.
Mr. Deadpan.
Yeah, but he was great. I love.
How are you today? Fine. Just fine.
That's true. He was great. I loved him.
and he was always on.
He was Wally's dad. In
He
the
was
show.
the same
No,
character
he
though.
wasn't Wally's dad. Wally was Beaver's brother.
That's
He was Lumpy Rutherford's.
Lumpy.
father.
Okay.
Yeah, Lumpy's dad. But Richard Deacon played the same role in everything he ever did.
He really did. He really, really did. He was on Pete and Gladys. He was on Jack Benny program. I mean, he was on all. He was on Match Game.
I saw him on Match Game not long ago.
Yeah, he was on Match Game, and he was on a lot of stuff. He really was. He truly, truly was, and he was a great actor. But you're right. He seemed like he played the same character all the time. Hey, don't forget to give us a call at
678-615-7560. Request a clip or a character, a favorite dad in TV or film. And I have a clip in a minute I want to play from a show I talk about ad nauseum on the Nostalgic Podblast. And that's Lost in Space. In the early episodes, there were great scenes between father and son. The writing was much better in the early black and white episodes before it went campy, before Batman was released and they tried to copy Batman and be silly.
We forget that he's eat up with Lost in Space.
But this is there's two clips in today's show. I won't do them back to back. I'll space them out. But there's two Lost in Space clips that are great. And I'm going to set this one up. It's on the CD, clip 1, Al. And what's happening is this is from the 4th episode.
So get it ready, Al. Get it ready.
Are we going to do that now?
Yeah, let's just play my first of 6 clips.
But I didn't think.
Let me set it up. So the robot will put the power
he's a
back.
pain in the ass.
Will put the power pack back in the robot, and he wanders off into the desert and encounters a giant.
A giant.
And so Dad's mad, pissed off at Will because they lost a valuable piece of equipment, the robot.
Now, how long does this run? About 5 minutes?
1 minute.
Was the giant Richard Deacon?
No, it was Lamar Lundy. He was a football player.
Oh, see, I thought it was Richard. See, I thought you were
trying to tie it in.
tie them both together.
So clip 1, Al, please.
Clip
on
1,
CD.
Al,
Is the CD potted
so
up? Here we go.
Listen to this clip that Al has queued up.
I want to talk to you about last night.
Yes.
I thought sure he'd be back by now.
The robot.
Well, you happen to be a very bright and very talented boy, all right? Now, look at me. But you're still a boy. And there are some things that even the brightest, most talented boys should leave to older hands. Now, with a little patience and a little time, we could have reprogrammed that robot to do its job. But because you acted without thought or permission, we lost a piece of valuable equipment that we needed very badly. And that's all I'm going to say to you about the robot.
Oh.
End of clip.
End of clip. Wow, that was very
You gotta stop it.
Very
That was
dramatic.
It will stop.
Off CD. We won't roll over to clip 2? Yeah.
Yeah, it will. So anyway, that did not have Richard Deacon in it, but that was very good.
See, if you'd have hit pause when you did it originally, would that?
So
But you know, another a TV show that dealt with a dad, we've talked about it on our Western show.
Yep.
It was The Rifleman.
Chuck Connors.
With his son. I mean, that the whole show
Sure did.
was about him and his son.
It really was, and Chuck Connors did a great job.
Johnny Crawford was great as Mark McCain. I mean, he was just he was just, I don't know, he was great. Do you have a clip from that too?
Well, actually, all I really have is the theme song. I've got some outtakes from.
Oh yeah, well, he was really good.
But here's a clip of Chuck Connors on the Don Knotts comedy show.
Aces and eights. 3 kings. Well, I guess that cleans me. Or does it? Now you get off this boat. We're in the middle of the river. And jump.
It's not a great clip. You'd have to see this.
What are they doing?
You'd have to. Well, they're fighting, and it's actually the Steve Allen show. I lied.
Oh.
And
But that's not a dad clip, though.
Well, no, it's not a dad. No, it's not a dad clip. But I was just trying to play you a Chuck Connors clip.
Oh.
So anyway, so Chuck Connors played the father.
But you know, it at the end of every episode of The Rifleman, there was always a scene between him and his son.
Yeah,
because a lesson learned, you know, from what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a show that had a great theme on the end, but they changed it after a couple of years. I hate it when they change the theme of a show and it went from.
Well, they feel they have to
update it.
You have to update it. Yeah.
And also on Andy Griffith at the end of every show, usually Opie and Andy Taylor, you know, would have a little father-son. There was one episode where Opie actually he killed a bird.
Right.
You know, remember that
Yep,
series?
yep, I do.
And he was so upset that he killed the bird after his son talked to him about life and how all life was precious. You know.
Yeah, that was really good, and we've got a
Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
Starring Andy Griffith.
Spin-off of the Danny Thomas Show.
Yeah.
Also starring Don Knotts.
Yeah,
and you know, I met Don Knotts when he was at Turner, and he was one of the nicest people I ever.
Dave, sometimes.
Can I say something about Andy Griffith?
Well, okay, I'll stop the clip.
He was playing the clip. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Then I'll shut up.
No,
Go ahead.
No, you've already.
In that
already
opening
stopped
on Facebook, someone has posted an iconic shot of them filming father and son walking down to the lake with the fishing poles, and you see like the crew and everything. It's a great picture.
Can we get back to the clip?
So basically, I got a little montage of clips from Ozzy and Harriet. Andy Griffith is on it. Danny Thomas is on this.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah,
great show.
Guy Williams from Lost in Space is on it. I took out Herman Munster because we already played Herman Munster. But here's some great clips. See if you recognize the fathers on these clips.
You know, Dave, sometimes parents like us are a little reluctant to let you guys go. So if we seem to hang on to you, you've just got to be a little understanding about it.
Ozzie Nelson.
You're my young. And I love you more than anything or anybody in the whole world. And nothing or nobody can ever change that.
There you go.
And don't forget, Ernie, when things get rough, you always have a friend you can pray to.
Oh, I already did that.
Oh, you did?
I prayed for you to come in here.
There's just one thing I'd like you to bear in mind. The family's one place where you're always wanted. Don't you ever forget it.
But when you lose, see, that's the hard part. That's when you have to take yourself in hand, show it ain't getting you down, and that you're a good sport about it, and that you're going to try again. And when you do that, you'll be on the road to becoming a mature human being.
Bob, we always have to have rules and laws, but we also have to use them with reason and justice.
You know, Wally, shaving is just one of the outward signs of being a man. It's a whole lot more important to try to be a man inside first.
Take my word for it. Money isn't nearly as important as the good feeling you get from doing the right thing.
Danny Thomas.
Remember what I've always told you. Never start a fight, but never run away from one.
You know the nice thing about having a son? You can watch him become a man and grow up with him all over again.
Zorro.
We want you to feel that you can come to me or to your mother at any time with any problem, and we'll understand.
It's a father's duty to see to it that his son grows up to be a respected and trusted member of his community.
But you're going to find out as you go along that there'll be lots of times that you have to make yourself a little unhappy in order to make other people happy. We'd be a lot better parents if we didn't wait till they did something good to let them know we're proud of them. I think what he meant was that we can't expect to get our children's love unless we first get their respect.
There you go. So we had Ward Cleaver.
Those are great.
Did you edit that, Tom?
Yeah.
That is very well done.
So we had Ward Cleaver, we had Andy Taylor, we had Danny Thomas.
John Robinson, Professor John Robinson.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite TV dad?
I would guess, I guess I would have to say Robert Young because I've been watching those shows lately with him. And he was probably my favorite. But then again, it's a toss-up between him and Ozzie Nelson.
Yeah.
Because Ozzie was funny, but at the same time he could be serious. And Don DeFore was on that show as well. He played the next door neighbor, but he was a father as well. But I think between Ozzie Nelson and Robert Young, yeah, I would have to say. What about you?
Yeah, it's a toss-up. I liked. We haven't talked much about him, but I'm being a big fan of westerns. I thought Ben Cartwright on Bonanza was a good dad.
Yeah.
He was reasonable. Yeah. He could be hard on him, and I liked him. And I guess probably from Father Knows Best, like you said. I mean, that was a great show.
Yeah.
And it always had good intentions and good morals, and
it did.
I liked it.
It did. What about you, Chance?
Probably Andy Taylor, Andy Griffith Show, and
now you watched
Bill Cosby in the Cosby Show. I always like the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
It's a shame what happened to him in reality.
It was a great show. Cosby was a great
but
show.
Andy Griffith is probably my favorite.
What's a good
I am your father. I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out.
So that was
How could a good guy go so
quick.
wrong? But it's that was a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Cosby was a very talented person.
A whole lot of good shows. I Spy in the '60s and Fat Albert. He did all those voices.
Yeah.
Hey, 3 squares a day.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying now.
But
Oh, you get it? You get it?
yeah.
But then where's my rim
In
shot when
prison.
you need it?
But I don't think there's any good. Are there any good TV show on today?
Is there any good father imagery
No, it's
on
not.
today? I don't know. I mean,
It's all sex.
Yeah, but
Wait a minute.
Modern Family. They
Yeah.
would say, but one of the best TV dads is Homer Simpson.
And that show's been on forever. In fact, the FX network is running back-to-back episodes
all the
of The
time.
Simpsons
I mean,
all
hell,
day long.
It started in 1989. Think about that.
My mom loved that show.
31 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Now, Tom and I were talking offline about a great show that got canceled after one season we loved called The Cool Kids on Fox because it had a lot of
Yeah,
classic
yeah, it
actors.
was.
I mean, Martin Mull, Vicki Lawrence.
Yeah.
Help me out with the little guy.
Well, Leslie Jordan.
Leslie
was,
Jordan
was the most
Great,
popular guy right now because
Do you
of
think
the COVID
the
thing.
show South Park had good dads in it?
No, not even a little teeny tiny bit.
Dysfunctional dads.
And Greer was in it. Anyway, I love that show.
Very dysfunctional. But that show only went one season.
One season. They had it on Friday night. But it was after
Yeah.
Last Man Standing, which
Yeah.
was a great show.
It
Tim
is.
Allen.
It
So
is.
you would think even on Friday night it had a great lead in. I wish they'd give it another year because it was so well written and they brought back a lot of great actors from the past. Anyway.
True. But there's a new show coming on Fox this fall, something the cat something with the girl that was Sheldon's girlfriend, Milam. What's her name? Milam Blalock. Who played?
She was Blossom.
Blossom. She
was
Blossom.
in Big Bang Theory.
Right. She's
as
on
the
this
girlfriend.
show,
Yeah,
and
she
so is
hosted
Leslie
Jeopardy
Jordan
recently.
and it's on Fox.
She did
this
well.
fall. So it's supposed to be.
Well, how about Red Fox? He was a dad.
Oh, we got a good montage of him.
Well,
what did he call
Sanford.
his son?
Well,
He had an
big, you
insult.
big dummy.
Exactly. Check this out. We got a little montage.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy. You big dummy. See what you did? Oh, no, you big dummy. Oh, no, you big dummy. You dummy.
So obviously, listen, that was a bunch of clips from
Sanford and Son.
From Sanford.
That was a great show. I mean,
it was very well written. But even back then, that humor it doesn't play well today because it's dated, yes. But some of the things he said, I don't know if you can say them anymore.
I don't think it's dated. I think it's politically incorrect because
Well, that's
he
what I
says
meant.
the N word. He
Yeah.
says the F word.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can get these on DVD uncensored.
No.
They
He didn't say the F word. They can't
He
say
said
that on
no.
TV.
He said FAGGOT.
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that F word.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can't say that either. So it's kind of like.
Well, he did in his stand-up comic routines.
Stand up.
He was just
there was an
very
album
blue.
I bought just for the album cover. I'm not even going to tell you what it said on the album cover, but that's the only reason I bought the album.
And the only other person on the show that did stand-up was she played
LaWanda Page.
Ann Esther.
LaWanda Page.
Yeah, she was great.
I got a quick bit. Speaking of his blue comedy, he did a video called "Comedy in a Plain Brown Wrapper." It was in Vegas, 1983, uncensored. It's hysterical. But here's one of his funniest jokes. He said, when I was a kid, you couldn't get any kind of a woman growing up. It was just taboo in the 50s. And so I had code called making sandwiches. So I got home from a date and my dad said, you're late. And he goes, what was you doing? He goes, I was just making sandwiches. And my dad pointed me and says, oh, okay, I guess that's mayonnaise run down your leg, Dan.
Oh, gosh.
That's on his record from the 60s.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow,
Some bad innuendo.
You
there.
had to sneak that one in, didn't you?
Yeah, you really
Well,
did.
it's not bad language. It's just innuendo.
Well, you had to sneak that one in, but that's
Yeah, you go look up Red Fox clips. The material on this home video cassette.
Is this in a plain brown wrapper?
I don't know. It just says Fred Fox stand up.
Well, but we're talking about the TV show. We don't really care about his stand-up.
That's it.
Oh, is this it? We better not play it because it could be some really.
He's going to say some
but-
irreverent. He's going to go, speaking of
Let's
big
just
pussy.
get some clips from his TV show. I mean, that's what
This is hilarious. Watch it. Here's the opening.
I know you've heard I was dirty and blue, vulgar, nasty, gross. Well, that's a lot of shit.
Okay. So,
and he coined the phrase, "You gots to wash your ass."
well, that's
Go to bed damp, everybody.
That's the album cover I've got.
Yeah.
It says.
How many seasons? Sanford Son was on for a long time.
5 years.
Was it
No,
5
6
years?
years. 6 years. 6 years. I love the one where they went to Hawaii. It was a 3-parter in the last season.
And then when I worked at Turner, we carried it at 17.
Of course.
But now it's on. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Nobody runs it anymore, though. Do they?
Quincy Jones music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great theme.
Yeah, it's a great opener.
Al, you're blocking my shot. I'm just kidding.
That'd be a good thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I love the truck. If I had a classic truck like that, I would definitely put Sanford and Son salvage. But then again, I wouldn't today. I'd have to take it off.
No. Well, not only were there TV shows, we can go back to, but there was a lot of movies that were dad movies.
But I want to say something about Sanford and Son real quick.
Okay.
All right, this relates to what you said about Turner airing Sanford and Son. Here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks team, back in the 90s, I think it was Steve Smith or Mookie Blaylock, one of these two players for the Hawks, in their contract, the renewal asked for every episode of Sanford and Son.
What?
And that was just a few years shy of the DVD explosion. If they'd only waited a little bit, they wouldn't have had to negotiate that as their contract. But it's a fact. It was in the Atlanta paper. Yeah, I think it was either Steve Smith or Mookie Blaylock, as the announcer would introduce.
So what? They wanted a video cassette or
they wanted
film,
video cassette. They wanted every Sanford
Shame
and
they didn't
Son.
negotiate film.
Well, they were shot in video. Yeah,
I know it would have been kinescopes,
but they would have been in black and white probably.
No, not necessarily. They could have negotiated color.
I've never seen a color kinescope ever. I just haven't.
Did they get them?
They did.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Well, who?
Because Ted Turner owned the Hawks. See, so Turner had the rights to Sanford and Son, airing it on Superstation WTBS, WTCG.
Yep.
It was part of the Turner family.
And then, of course, there's Archie Bunker.
Love All in the Family.
I told you he was coming. There he is, right out there on the stoop. Come on here, Mr. Davis. Come on. Davis, it's an honor.
she bows and curtsies.
Welcome to our house. Oh, I'm so excited. But then you can't imagine because you never had to meet yourself.
Mr. Davis, sir, it's my wife Edith laughing over there. Shut up. Mr. Davis, my daughter Gloria standing over there.
Hello, Gloria.
And her husband Mike.
Hello, Mike.
No!
He shakes Mike Jefferson's hand.
Yeah.
The African American.
You know, one of my favorite episodes, though, was the one that had Sammy Davis Jr.
That's what he's playing right now.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This is only Lyman. He lives
I love
next
it.
door. My
Lionel.
daughter's married to the white guy over there. There's Munson with the briefcase now there, Sammy. I'll let him right in.
Oh, hi, Arch.
Munson, we're waiting for you. Where were you?
I'm sorry I took so long, Arch, but I bumped into Bonnie Hefner with his camera, so naturally I had to go back and get mine. Mr. Davis, this is an unexpected pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Can I get a picture,
No,
Mr.
no,
Davis?
come on, Munson, no pictures.
Oh, no, this one
No
is for me.
pictures.
Mr. Munson, would you stand over there? I want
Now,
one
this
picture
is a
taken with
great
Arch,
part of this
my friend
episode.
and me.
You and me?
Oh, yes. Now, on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Sammy Davis kisses him on the cheek. Archie.
Yes, he does.
Why does the camera flash
Yeah.
goes off? But remember the big line? Do you take cream in your eye? When he makes some coffee, it's not in this clip, but he goes,
Wow.
and he goes, ooh, and he
Could that,
Archie has
could
to
that
take
show be
cream in his
done
eye.
today?
No. Well, it has been done. It's done by Norman Lear, who's still alive. He's
No, that's
91
true.
years old.
That's true. They
with
do-
Jimmy
they-
Kimmel, who now Jimmy
Yeah.
Kimmel, his career's on hold because of some. We won't go there.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Kimmel's executive producer of the new All in the Family, and you know
Well-
who plays Archie, don't you? Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson. Yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job.
Well, is that going to be a permanent thing?
No,
or-
no.
Well, every
They've just
quarter,
done, they've
yeah,
just done
twice a
two
year.
episodes.
Okay. All right.
They've just done 2 episodes now. You can. I think it's on Hulu or something. You can certainly look it up. But Archie Bunker was one of the classic characters Carol O'Connor did, and he enjoyed doing that role. And then, of course, there was a spinoff.
He was a movie star before. You know,
Of course.
He was in a lot of movies.
Of course.
We have a
of
clip
course.
coming up. Another while we're talking about Norman Lear spinoff, Good Times.
Yeah.
Which was Florida, and in the story, the dad died. What do you do when your dad dies on TV or in real life? And in real life, the actor John Amos didn't want to negotiate his contract. So here's the theme song for Good Times. Great
Yeah.
song.
So go ahead and explain. I can play that clip. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there was a contract negotiation breakdown, and so John Amos, they just killed him off. So in this episode, Florida, played by Esther Roll, who is the mom of the family in the projects, she has shown no emotion during the funeral,
Right.
not one bit of emotion. She finally breaks down at the very end of the episode, and it's a powerful moment in TV history. And after the theme, we'll play that for you.
That was her reaction.
Damn. It's a powerful moment in TV history.
That's all it was.
And from thereafter, there was no dad in that household in Good Times on the projects. It was terrible.
Wow.
And how long did the series last after that?
Well, Janet Jackson came along. They had a lot of cast members. I'll tell you my book. Wow.
From the show was I felt that with
This is
two
John
other younger children, one of whom who aspired to become a Supreme Court justice, that would be Ralph Carter or Michael, and the other Bernadette Stannis, I think she aspired to become a surgeon. And the differences I had with the producers of the show was that I felt too much emphasis was being put on JJ and his chicken hat and saying dynamite every third page, when just as much emphasis and mileage could have been gotten out of my other two children and the concomitant jokes and humor that could have come out of that. But I wasn't the most diplomatic guy, like I said, in those days, and they got tired of having their lives threatened over jokes. So they said, to tell you what, why don't we kill him off and we'll all get on with our lives.
So there you go. He just didn't like the way the show was going.
And Good Times was actually a spinoff of Maude because Florida was Maude's maid.
Florida. Yeah.
Florida. That was her character name,
Yeah,
played by
yeah.
Esther Roll. The mom went, damn. And to answer your question, Al, Good Times started February 1st, 74 and ran until August 1st, 79. So in the 73-74 season, it was a winter replacement show.
I don't understand.
And here's both
But
of them.
especially you white women. You sit up here in your nice world, and instead of enjoying the things you got,
And this
you
is
worry
John
yourself
Amos
sick
on
about
Maude.
some women's rights. Well, let me tell you, baby, I'm Ebony. In the world I grew up in, the black man couldn't even get a job. So the woman went out and worked and supported the family. And quiet as it's kept, none of us never wanted it that way. And some of us don't have to have it that way, like me. Now, I got a J.O.B. and a good one. And if I have to work 2 jobs, then I will. Because I am no longer going to be the husband of a black maid.
There you go.
Great, powerful clip.
Yeah, it really is.
Hey, you people ain't gonna be sucked in by that jive. Florida, he knows what he's talking about. He's black. And what do you think I am, sundan? You ain't listening to a black problem woman. You listening to a male ego.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Florida?
Oh, Henry, you wait a minute. Now, you hurt because of your pride, and I love you for that. But I also resent you for not being just as proud of me as I am of you.
I am proud of you, Florida. It's just that I don't want you to be a maid no more.
Them two don't go together, Henry. Your mother was a maid. That's how your brothers got through school and you got to be a fireman. My grandmother was a maid. That's how my daddy got a little schooling. There are a lot of women, Henry, on both sides of my family who worked all their lives in white kitchens so their kids could get some of the things they should have.
Well, there you go.
That's incredible.
Wasn't going to get political, but there you go. I mean, that clip
Now, what year was
speaks
that?
for today.
That would be
It's the
72.
70s.
1972 or
That was-
probably
that was-
73.
yeah, that was
1973.
pretty
But you
strong
got-
for
yeah.
72.
Well,
Well,
you
the
got-
writing, you don't have writing like
Well, it
that.
was Maude. So Maude was pretty. Remember,
She was liberal.
Very much so. And that show was very liberal. And they didn't. Was it CBS? I think it was CBS.
CBS.
Didn't care for that because that was around the Smothers Brothers era and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that was quite the clip by accident.
Well, Norman Lear was liberal. You know, he wrote Archie Bunker. You know, it was like a caricature of what he interpreted conservatives to be. It was smart writing.
Yeah.
Let
Really
me ask
smart.
you something. In that same era, was Chico and the Man considered
Yes.
a father-son show?
Yes, good
Well,
call. Yes.
Yeah, because
Jack Albertson and, of course, Freddie Prinze, who killed himself.
Who killed himself. I mean, I don't know why he did that.
Norman Lear show. Did you know that? It's a
Yeah.
Norman Lear production.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was. And
Freddie Prinze can't handle his stardom. That's why he killed himself. He didn't like fame and being hassled.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yep. Jose Feliciano. Good theme.
Yeah, I like
He
those
still
guys.
does this in concert. Jack Albertson. sorry, it's not a very good quality clip.
Yeah, that's I remember that.
But it was a good show for what it was.
It was.
But
it was on the same time as Sanford and Son.
Yeah. It was
The
very
Jeffersons was another spinoff I loved. You saw a clip with Lionel with Sammy Davis Jr. Lionel was the first character from the Jeffersons you ever met on All in the Family way back in the beginning in the first season. And they didn't introduce George for a while. They introduced his uncle, Henry, or George's brother, Henry. They didn't introduce George Jefferson until 1973, and that was a great dad.
Yeah.
He cared about his son, Lionel. He got him a job. I mean, he was a good family man. Now, he was a bigot, but he loved family, and he took care of his family.
Yeah,
George Jefferson, that's what I like about Jefferson. He was successful.
He was.
Had all of those dry cleaner stores, supposedly, and he always aimed high. And I got depressed watching The Good Times because it was about, the ghetto, and it was sad. It's real. It's real. No offense intended. I'm just saying I preferred the Jeffersons watching people excel.
Yeah.
Janet DeBow singing.
Good theme song.
A lot of soul.
And now when they reprised the show the first time they did it, was it Jennifer Hudson who sang the theme? And she came out and sang it, and it brought the house down.
Brought the house down.
Yeah, it was very, very well done.
I like Florence too. She's one of my favorite TV maids. Now we're digressing. We need to get back to Dad's, but she was the wisecracking maid, the lazy wisecracking maid.
Yeah. Marla Maples.
Marla Maples. She's still alive.
Yes.
She's the only surviving cast member of the Jeffersons.
She was very good. She was a very nice lady.
Not Marla Maples. That's Trump's ex-wife, Marla Gibbs.
I'm sorry. Marla Gibbs. My mistake.
It's okay.
Correction corner on myself.
It's okay.
But you're right. I'm sorry. But she was
Marla Gibbs.
She was a very nice lady because she did the Trumpet Awards when I did it, and
you met her?
Oh yeah, I worked with her, and she was very, very, very nice lady. So here's the opening of the new Jeffersons.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's real good.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, she did a good job. And she's walking through the set. So anyway, it was very well done. Even though Kimmel was involved.
The set looks just like the original. Production values there. Live audience.
Yeah.
Great job.
Was there another TV show that dealt with dads we haven't mentioned?
There's plenty more. We're just getting
even
started. And we'll get to movies too. But I got one other quick clip from Lost in Space. It relates to movies. I want to set this up briefly. I brought this on film.
This is the last one, right?
From Lost in Space, yes. Not the last clip, but yes.
Clip
and we'll move on. Yes, but this is different. Here, let me just set this up.
Okay.
George Lucas ripped off Lost in Space a lot, and if you recall, it was revealed that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Well, nothing's new in Hollywood. They all kind of riff off each other.
In this clip, the dad, John Robinson, has been possessed by an alien spirit, and he's wearing a mask, and they're dubbing his voice over like they did James Earl Jones as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So he's possessed, and every time he sleeps, the alien force takes over his body. So it's a pretty serious scene, and I'll play it now. It's clip 2. If you just hit play, all you have to do is make sure the CD is on, and hit clip 2, Al, please.
And I know why you're wearing that mask, too. So we won't know that you've taken over my father's body.
You're a very bright young man.
Oh.
It's regrettable that you must be destroyed. But it must be done.
It must be
Would you
done.
do something for me first? Would you take off your mask? I want to see my father's face one last time.
Ooh.
Very well.
He's removing the mask. Here's the powerful scene.
Goodbye, Dad.
He's going to push him off a cliff.
What did you say?
I love you, Dad.
Why do you hesitate? Push him off.
Push him.
Off the cliff.
I order you to obey.
No, it's not right.
Push him off.
It's like Return of the Jedi. Remember when Darth Vader
Listen to him, Dad.
throws the Emperor off?
Yeah.
That's what he's about to do to this dude.
You cannot disobey me. Do as I say.
Listen.
Nothing's stronger than the feeling we have for you, Dad.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen.
pushes him off. Just like Return of the Jedi with the Emperor. Now here's the very end. Listen to this speech.
He said it was a minute.
About love. No, listen.
He's gone forever.
This is a great line.
Yes, well, he's gone.
What do you think chased him off,
Here it
sir?
is.
Love, Will.
And now this is
In
going to
all
go.
the worlds and
I love that.
galaxies of this universe, there is nothing stronger.
Listen. Now here, this is going to go into Empire Strikes Back. 30 seconds. Luke, I am your father. Here, it's clip 3. Here we go. Because it kind of ties into what we're talking about.
Oh, really?
Here it is. Here it is. It's 35 seconds. It's 3. Here we go. Listen.
One never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father. I am your father.
Okay.
I'll never forget this scene.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Sounds like James Earl Jones.
It is. This is the best acting Mark Hamill ever did in the series.
No.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank goodness.
That was good. It was really nice.
But you remember when Luke's hand got cut off right before
Yeah.
that? That was
Yeah, it
the
was
most
very
dramatic thing I'd ever seen.
Very whimsical. Very
That was actually
whimsical.
longer than a minute, you know.
It was. It really was. It's like I want to. I'm glad that clip is over.
So what?
And so does the audience.
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, so nothing new is in Hollywood anymore. That's how they just would rip each other off. Now, there's other newer shows that we haven't discussed about. What about
what daddy TV shows?
Well, yeah.
Like what?
What about Mr. Bundy?
Mr. Bundy.
Remember that show?
No.
Married with Children. Married with Children.
I never watched that.
Oh, but he's
Sorry.
another what I would consider
Yeah.
a bad father. So who else do you consider a bad father on TV? Now, I just named one. Ed Bundy. He wasn't the best father.
Al Bundy.
And Al Bundy. Sorry. So who do you think?
Ted Bundy was a serial killer. Wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He would be
Get the
he would be the
people
worst. He would be the worst father.
He would be a terrible dad.
Yeah. So who? What Modern Family show would you consider to have a bad father? Who is portrayed today? Chance? Anybody? Anything? Any show? Come on now. Have I stumped? I need to redo that sounder. Was stump Chance?
Probably in Breaking Bad. Was he a dad?
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
There you go. Breaking Bad.
Very good.
Well, I know. I mean,
Heisenberg, say my name.
It's not from a TV show. We'll get to it, but the guy that played in the movie "I Walk the Line" with Joaquin Phoenix, where he played Johnny Cash, the guy that played his dad was terrible. His dad was just really, really mean.
Yeah.
But I can't think of the guy's name. I guess I could Google it. But anyway, he was a bad dad.
Yeah.
What show?
It's a movie. "I Walk the Line."
Oh yeah, I saw that.
With Johnny Cash, about Johnny Cash, Joaquin Phoenix, way before he did the Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix, yes, yeah, way before he did the Joker.
With Reese Witherspoon as June Carter.
Yeah, that was
great
it was a good movie.
It was a very good movie. I Walked the Line.
Oh, you got a Dallas clip or something?
Well,
there.
you know, any of these families from Dallas, you know, they weren't very good. And
How about J.R. Ewing? Yeah, that's not very recent, but that was a
Family
pretty,
Guy.
yeah.
Family Guy. He wasn't exactly.
Well, Family Guy is a great show.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He's not exactly the best father figure that you
Well,
can
no,
think of.
He was just sort of dysfunctional.
Walter White, as he's expressed from Breaking Bad, he was not a good father as either, and neither was the dude from Sopranos.
Joey Soprano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very good father either.
A good recent father would be Rick Grimes on Walking Dead, who's no longer on the show. He's not been killed off, but he's a great dad in a story about survival in a zombie
I
apocalypse.
never followed that show too much. I did watch it though.
Yeah, it's good. I like the early seasons. Of course, I'm biased, but that's
Yeah,
enough said on that.
Yeah. Game of Thrones, none of the kings or none of the fathers were very good fathers back then either. So it's kind of like you know, there's a bevy of bad fathers out there, just as many as are good fathers. Because all the good fathers, you saw them in the 50s and the 60s in the sitcom, you know, Pete and Gladys and all them other shows. But it seems like nowadays, it seems like there's no really good father figures on TV right now because you can't think of any. I mean, some people say Modern
I can't
Family.
think of any.
But you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think. If anyone has any bad fathers or good fathers that they want to talk about, give us a call. Chance?
678-615-7560. 678-615-7560.
Now, just the Facebook people who are watching us live can call in. If you're listening to us on the radio, fistfulofradio.com, etc.
That number wouldn't work.
The number won't work. I mean, it'll ring.
It'll work, but you know.
And also,
it'll ring
I don't
in
think
here.
Al will answer.
On Fistful of Radio, it's a week after Father's Day, but we're trying to get what they call a Comrex unit so we can be live on fistfulofradio.com.
That's true. So you know, anyway, so the fathers, that's all we've been talking about all day. The movie fathers, we didn't really name too many movie fathers.
Well, I got some movies we can talk about.
Yes, good.
You know.
And I've got some too, but we'll let you go first.
I get, one of my favorite father movies was one called The Big Fish.
Oh yeah,
Albert Finney.
I forgot.
And Ewan McGregor played his son. That's a great movie.
Yeah. Well, that was a good movie. And you know,
it was a good movie.
You don't see that one on offered up on Netflix or anything.
I have it on DVD, but it's really a good one. It's one of my favorites. And another good father movie. It was Kramer versus Kramer with Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, good pick.
I didn't like that.
That was what are you doing?
I didn't care for that one. I didn't care for that one at all. But
that's going to be at the end.
Oh, okay.
And let's see. And another one I wrote down was The World's Greatest Dad with Robin Williams. Remember that one?
Yes, that was a good one as well.
Yeah, I like that one. And going back to the 60s is Father of the Bride with Spencer Tracy and Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, that's from the
60s.
I've never seen that. I've seen the remake.
It's from the 40s, late 40s.
Oh, it's that old.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then of course they redid it with Steve Martin.
Yes, he did.
And which was not bad.
Well, there was also a sequel, Father's Little Dividend.
Yeah.
With Spencer Tracy when Elizabeth Taylor has a baby.
That's right. That was a sequel to it, basically.
That was a sequel. Yeah.
To it.
Now the one that Steve Martin did was actually pretty good. I mean,
yeah, it was.
I loved it.
It was actually
and another good father
entertaining.
movie with James Dean, East of Eden. Oh. Raymond Massey played his dad. He was really hard on him. Yeah. That was a good one. And East of Eden.
Six You Get Egg Roll.
Oh, with
Brian Key. Was that
and Lucille Ball.
No. That was I'm sorry.
Eight is Enough was that movie? What? No, Eight
is Enough was a TV show.
Yes.
No, there was a movie.
No,
with Six You Get Egg Roll.
Yeah,
that was the
that was Lucille Ball and Henry Fonda.
Cheaper by the dozen.
And another a good father movie.
Factual here.
Another good father movie came out in the late '90s was. I wrote it down. In the Name of the Father, Daniel Day-Lewis. Did you see that?
No, I don't recall.
Good movie.
What was it about? What was it about? Do you remember?
Well, it's a father-son relationship. They didn't get along. Another one, A Perfect World with Kevin Costner.
And your mic is cutting right through my face, just like it did at my house last week.
How's that?
Yeah, I just noticed that. I just happened.
And another good one.
He's blocking us both.
Another good movie with Brad Pitt. Legends of the Fall.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins played his dad.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is one of the country's greatest actors, I think.
Yeah.
He sure is.
And another one with Robin Williams is Mrs. Doubtfire. That was a dad movie.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah,
I guess it was. Yeah, it technically was. It most certainly was.
Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Nothing in Common with Jackie Gleason and Tom Hanks.
Man,
what a great pick.
You got quite the list over there. Keep going.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. Very good.
In fact, that's on the Movies Network.
That's the last Jackie Gleason film before he died.
And another one, I would, it's a Western.
Was the movie?
No, Shenandoah with Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
A great Civil War movie where his sons wanted to go to fight in the Civil War, but of course Jimmy Stewart, their dad, did not. He fought to keep them from going into the war.
Yes,
it was a good one.
That was a very good
one. Also, it's a great song.
Yeah. That was that. And you know who did it? Tennessee Ernie Ford did it.
Played the song. It was also done by the Kingston Trio.
Yeah. Here's Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Oh, Shenandoah.
Ooh, that's good.
I hear you calling.
I love Tennessee Ernie Ford.
That's a movie. That's a great.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you.
Great, when they shot stuff back then. This was in color. Just great stuff. Great lighting.
He actually did themes to some other movies. He did one,
River of No Return.
with Elizabeth Taylor. That's a great song.
River of No Return. That was with Marilyn Monroe.
Yes,
Marilyn Monroe, not Elizabeth Taylor. It was a great song. And he could do.
And Robert Mitchum.
And one side note, just like his voice, you listen to him singing now, and in my opinion, Jim Nabors kind of stole his act in a way, because he could play the country bumpkin, and he had the voice and everything. Like, he's picking, all this.
Well, didn't he get really famous on the Lucy show?
Well, he did. But he played that cornpone character like Gomer, and then he would break out and sing a song like this. But so did Gomer. But he did it first.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, Jim Nabors stole that character. That gets back to what I said earlier. Nothing's new in Hollywood. So that's a great song.
That's a great song. I'm glad you played that.
Yeah.
One of our viewers on Facebook mentioned, this is Mark. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Fredo, Fredo, Marc Ferdo says the dad on the Goldbergs is a bit of a slug.
I've never watched that show. Is it any good?
No, I've never really watched it either. And even though it does fairly good in the ratings, they did a Family Feud episode, which was kind of funny. But no, I've never really watched it. I mean,
with Steve Harvey?
No, that was they did a Family Feud takeoff, or they were on the Family Feud show.
Welcome back, Celebrity Family Feud.
It's Celebrity Family Feud.
Get it on. Give me Tracy. Give me Shaw.
So it's basically the Goldbergs versus the Black.
In character.
So
that's neat.
So it's
they did that with Mama's Family back in the day.
Yes, they did.
On Family Feud.
Yeah, they really, really did.
Our friend Wesley had to sign off. He said there's storms in his area. He said we'd catch it later.
Yeah.
On the replay.
He's a big radio listener.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. You killed my mic, and I don't know why.
I meant to hit mine. I hit yours.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because they are. Let's see, are they playing in character here? Because it sounds like they are. Let's see.
But Steve doesn't smell like any of it.
Okay. I don't want to be the host of this show anymore.
No, see, I don't know if they're doing it in character.
They're in character. I have a feeling they're in character.
Anyway, the Goldbergs. Yeah, the Goldbergs.
So
yeah.
I've got a couple clips from. All right.
Who
do you guys know that have two dads? This is a big blockbuster motion picture, and this character has two dads. I'll give you a hint. He's from outer space.
Oh, great.
Oh, good grief. It's not Lost in Space, is
No, I'm done with Lost in Space.
It's not Star Trek, is
I
it?
said movie. No.
Oh, it must be Star Wars.
It's Clark Kent and Superman. He had his Earth father.
Okay, it's either Lost in Space, it's Superman, or
Star
it's
Wars,
the Fall Guy,
or the Fugitive, the Invaders.
Fugitives, or the Invaders. That's Chance.
Well, I'm going to debut a scene with Marlon Brando that was cut because when Superman 2 rolled around, he demanded too much money, and they shot all his.
This is not a dad clip.
It is. You're so fucking wrong. You're so god-darn wrong. It's unbelievable. It is. If you listen to it, I'll prove you're wrong. It's about father and son.
Apologize for your language.
I apologize for my language. I apologize. Beep. I'll censor myself. No, but actually, buddy, it does actually. I'd beg to differ.
No apologies.
Does play to the father-son theme.
Yeah. No.
Here's the scene. Here's the scene with the adopted dad. Let me get it.
The scene with the adopted
This is
dad.
Glenn Ford playing Pa Kent, and he gives a nice brief speech. It's like 30 seconds long to Clark Kent.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Glenn Ford, which was a great actor, he did so many roles. It was just a great
Sonny
stuff.
just came in here.
I really liked Glenn Ford. So here is Glenn Ford.
If I can,
These are outtakes. This is an outtake from the Superman movie.
Admiral, David is dead.
No, it isn't.
No.
Wrong clip.
She just said Admiral David is dead. I think it's the wrong movie.
It's the wrong one. Hang on.
Al, I think we got the wrong movie.
I
going.
got it. I'm sorry.
You know,
there's always one guy that screws everything up.
But you know what?
I don't give a damn.
That's the wrong
When you
movie.
first came here, we thought that people would come and take you away because when they found out, the things you could do, and that worried us a lot. But then a man gets older and he thinks very differently and things get very clear. And there's one thing I do know, son, and that is you are here for a reason. I don't know whose reason, whatever the reason is, maybe it's because, I don't know, but I do know one thing, it's not to score touchdowns. Huh?
Thanks, Dad.
That's great.
Right to it.
That's it, huh? That's good. Now, you know what? We are forgetting one of the early television shows of sadly an actor who's passed away, but Bill Bixby had a great father-son show. You remember what it was?
Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have too many rules or not enough.
Maybe we have too many people.
Then we need more rules.
Then we have less freedom.
What do we do about that?
Eddie, you've just put your small thumb on a big question.
Did you ever try to think of just nothing?
Yeah, pretty hard, isn't it?
Yeah, something always keeps sneaking in there.
Great theme, too.
I always liked that show.
Yeah, it was a good
did
show.
I.
It was a
Good
good
show.
show.
Bill Bixby was a big TV star. He didn't make it much in the movies, but he was a big TV
No,
guy.
you're right. And he was a good producer director too. He did a lot.
He
of
got his start in My Favorite Martian.
Yeah. He was producing and he was directing up until the very end.
Blossom.
Was it Blossom? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He died of prostate cancer November 21st, 1993.
Yeah.
We have a call.
La, 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 la. Yeah. And the kid unfortunately grew up to be kind of a punk rocker, and he did a lot of
Brandon Cruz.
Yeah, he did a lot of tattoos and all kinds of weird stuff like that. So we have a caller who is calling in, and who is it, Al? Who we got with us?
Well, it's a friend of Chance's in mine. It's his name is Jamie. Hello, Jamie, you here?
Hey, what's going on, Chance?
Hey, Jamie. Good to hear from you.
Hey, I'm sitting here watching y'all's pod thing on here.
Hey, we appreciate it.
Very good. Very good.
Talking about dads and movies and TV show for Father's Day. Hope your Father's Day is going well. You're a dad.
Yeah, it's going. I'm at work. It's going pretty good though.
Good.
What are you working on Sunday? Why are you working on Sunday?
Yeah, my daughters. One of them called the show and told me you have to follow. The other one texted me and told me I have to follow.
Oh, I didn't know your business was open on Sunday.
Yeah, we do. Trucks come in for parking all the time.
Oh, okay. So there's somebody there for that. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
All right. So what's your favorite TV dad of days gone by?
Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith. Okay.
Andy Taylor.
That's mine too.
Andy Taylor. Yeah.
Andy Taylor. What about is there any newer shows that are currently on the air or just gone off the air that you can think of? Because we couldn't come up with too many that were our favorites or that anyone knew of.
They had good fathers. No, I couldn't think of any.
Yeah, I couldn't either. What about your movie dads? What about not TV, but what about film? What about portrayals in films? Is there any favorite father figures that you can think of? And don't say Al Pacino and Scarface.
I like the dad in the Andy Hardy shows.
Yeah.
That's right. We forgot about that. Yeah. He was good. What was that guy's name?
I'm trying to remember his name off the top.
I can see his face. I mean, but I can't think of his name.
I can too, but I can't think of his name. But he was in a lot of movies. He was in a lot of movies back then.
I like the old movies that had it was a wife and husband, and he was like a detective.
Yeah.
Slender Man or something like that.
Well, there was one. There was one with James. I'm sorry, the guy who's married to Natalie Wood.
Robert Wagner, Heart to Heart.
Heart to Heart. Yeah, Heart to Heart. We'll be back after
I remember
this.
that.
Oh, these were old black and white movies, and they were.
Oh, you're talking about the Thin Man series with
Thin Man,
William
it.
Powell? Yeah.
Well, Jamie, I'm glad you like that old stuff like that. That was just on the Movies Network. They run Thin Man movies all the time.
watch them when they come on
It's
Turner
on
Classic.
Yeah, and Channel 5.2, which is over the air here in Atlanta, the movies channel. They run a lot of those movies.
Yeah, I love old movies, like old black and white movies.
Yeah,
I do too.
Judge James Hardy. Yeah, that's great. I still didn't find his name.
That was a
I saw
good
his picture.
choice, Jamie. I didn't think you'd remember that.
He knows
That's
a
good.
lot about movies, particularly black and white movies. Jamie knows a lot.
Yeah, I love watching old movies like that, and most of the time, if I'm going to watch something on TV, I'll click it over to Turner Classics or it's 256 on DirecTV. It's old movies, and they don't have no commercials in them.
What?
I'll see what's playing there. And
256. I'll have to check. It's on. Is that Comcast?
no, that's DirecTV.
Oh, okay. I don't have DirecTV.
I'll click on there and I'll see movies that I've never seen before, and that's how I find great new movies. Stuff I have never seen. I'll just watch it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that channel either. Let's listen to a clip from Andy Hardy. He's talking to his father.
Hello, son.
Hello.
I'm
Mickey
not
Rooney.
interfering with business routine, am I?
Why, certainly not. I'm glad to see you.
Does this establishment allow its young executives to go out to lunch?
Well, you bet it's practically lunchtime now. I can go any time between 12 and 12:30.
Have lunch with me.
You bet I will. Wait till I get my hat.
He's not bald yet.
Judge Hardy, wasn't it?
That was Hardy. Yeah.
Well, they spelled it wrong. They spelled it Hardy. It should be EE like me.
Like your name.
I've often snatched a sandwich at the Carvel Drugstore soda fountain, but this is a little overwhelming. Well, Andrew, how is everything?
Oh, everything's fine.
Looks like a first-rate place you work in.
Oh, swell place, swell people, swell boss.
Looks like you've got life by the tail.
Well, I've had a couple of experiences, but I'm all right now.
Nothing to warrant talking about, eh?
No, nothing to talk about.
So nothing to talk about. So anyway. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for calling in, my friend.
Well, Jamie, you doing okay, bud?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm still doing my show every day from.
Well,
The Flat Earth Jamie Show. It's killing it in the numbers.
Well, I get Facebook requests from you, but it's spelled differently. I'm not sure it's the right one, but I guess it is. I don't know. Is it right?
We had to spell it differently because Facebook kept taking down my.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know. Okay.
We're asking people to go over to the YouTube channel and.
Well, you can grow your YouTube channel. A lot of people watch YouTube. I mean, that's.
Well, we've got 200 subscribers over there, and we add a couple more every day.
Well, that's good.
We appreciate you calling. I got to play one more clip before we run out of time before Al shuts me down.
All right, y'all have a good one, man.
Thanks, Jamie. I'll be listening to you tomorrow.
Happy Father's Day to all y'all.
All right, you too,
Happy
bud.
Father's Day to you.
Thanks for calling. Okay, bye.
Wait.
That was Flat Earth Jamie. Now I'm going to transfer. I'm stopping that pre-recorded segment because we have a special call on the line. Hang on a second. Barry, is that you? Barry King, BK on the air.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm special. In certain ways, I'm special. Maybe not in a good way. Yeah.
No, you're very special. I love your show, man, and I appreciate you having me on. How's your Father's Day going, brother?
Well, my Father's Day is more one of remembrance than anything else. Mine's no longer with us, but I do remember him and appreciate everything he did. But you played a clip. I heard the clip from Superman. That's probably my favorite father-son moment in motion picture history, with Glenn Ford talking to Jonathan Kent talking to Clark in the '78 version of Superman the movie. How much better father-son does it get than that?
I couldn't agree more. And what I like about the character of Kal-El or Superman in the vernacular is he has two dads. He has his Earth dad, Pa Kent, and of course Jor-El, played by Marlon Brando. And I'm going to play a clip of that later too, from the Donner cut of Superman 2.
And kind of like Ego and Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy, you could equate that to Superman because Jor-El was Superman's father, Kal-El's father, but Jonathan Kent was his daddy in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you do that impression like you did in your show yesterday of Yondu? Not to put you on the spot.
I don't remember doing that. I don't remember doing that. He may have been your father, boy, but he ain't your daddy.
Yeah. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2. For anyone that hasn't seen that film, it's a great movie. Kurt Russell's in it. Killer Marvel movie. Even if you don't know anything about the Marvel comic books or the movies, you could watch that and be entertained. You don't need to know any backstory.
And if I want to do a shout out for my two favorite TV dads. I think my favorite television dads growing up was always Andy Griffith, Andy Taylor, Sheriff Andy Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show. Anytime he'd interact with Opie, great. Everybody wanted a father like that. And Ralph Waite, John Walton on the Waltons. He was my next favorite father. There's so many great ones you can choose, but I just want to throw those two out there as two of the best television dads in TV history.
That's a pretty awesome list. And I'm going to play a clip of Andy Taylor. Andy Griffith as Andy Taylor in his very first appearance as that character on Make Room for Daddy, otherwise known as the Danny Thomas Show, as it was originally titled. Make Room for Daddy is a syndicated title. It was renamed for reruns.
Yeah, Danny Thomas, wasn't he moving through, driving through the little town and got stopped by the sheriff and his Andy Griffith? Yeah, I can't remember that.
Yeah, and he's obnoxious. Danny Thomas's character is a real rude jerk to the policeman, the sheriff, Andy Taylor, and he gets what's coming to him for being a rude jerk to the lawman. It's a great clip. I'll play it towards the end of the show.
And Tom Bosley, again, was a great father on Happy Days, and people might remember also that Happy Days kind of got its start on Love American Style as a short skit.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. It was a segment, right. One of the many, it was an anthology show. Love American Style lasted 5 seasons. Only season 1 has been released on DVD by CBS Paramount. And it started in 1969 to 1970, but there were a lot of individual stories with a lot of great guest stars. And Happy Days was indeed introduced, and Tom Bosley was in that original cast, and so was Aaron Moran as Joni, and Ron Howard as Richie Cunningham, and I think Potsy was in there, but there was no Fonzie, and there were different actors in the other roles.
Yeah, everybody just remember, cherish love and spend time with your dads, because as some of us have already found out, they're not going to be around forever. So do it while you can. And if all the dads would aspire to be like Jonathan Kent, Andy Griffith, and Ralph Waite, John Walton on the Waltons, the world would be a better place.
Those are excellent role models, even though they're not real. The stories were real. Those were written by great writers. Earl Hamner Jr., who created the Waltons. These were just fantastic scripts and great lessons to be learned by the audience.
Yeah, they're all fictional fathers except for Jor-El. He's real, though.
He is to me, man. Marlon Brando, even though he's reading off cue cards, his performance was rock solid.
And he was making what? They
over $1 million.
Wasn't it the highest paid role for an actor at that time?
Yeah, and he did I think 16 days work at Pinewood Studios England for both films, Superman 1 and 2. And then when Superman was a hit, he demanded more money, so they had to wait for him to die to release his scenes he shot for Superman 2, where he restores Superman's powers. That's one of the clips I'm going to play later today. That was released in 2006 in the Donner cut on DVD and eventually Blu-ray. And it's awesome. I hope it's streaming somewhere. It should be on HBO Max. I'm not sure. That's a Warner Brothers movie, and I don't know if Warner's doesn't have a streaming service, does it, Barry?
I'm not sure. They might. I'm not sure if they have a deal with HBO Max, because I know a lot of the Warner Brothers films are shown on HBO Max.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's some sort of revenue share deal they have with them. I think, but I don't know.
Well, come to think of it, today on the recording of your show, on the date that you're recording, is the anniversary of Jaws today.
That's right. I'm playing that clip too. Yes, absolutely.
And
Jaws.
There's another great father, Chief Brody. Roy Scheider was a great dad too.
Yes, he was. Great call, man. What are your memories of seeing Jaws? Did you see it in the theater when you were a young man, when you were a child?
Yes. Yeah, I saw Jaws in the theater when I shouldn't have. I was too young to see it, really, now that I look back on it, because it really affected me. Saw it in a theater with my mom and my sister, and it scared the crap out of us, just like it did everybody else our age. I was 9 when I saw Jaws. Yeah, I was 9 years old.
Wow. Well, we're kind of telling on ourselves in terms of our age, but that must have been great to see in the theater. I saw it in the theater too, and I like Jaws 2 as well. But in terms of the original one, I mean, Robert Shaw was awesome, who was a Bond villain back in the second Bond movie, From Russia with Love. And Robert Shaw was excellent in that film. And Richard Dreyfuss, the whole cast. Go ahead.
He was a great actor in anything he's in. Robert Shaw played King Henry VIII in A Man for All Seasons, a movie that came out in the 60s, was based on a play, and he was great in there as the king. So anything he was in, he was great.
Oh, hell yeah, he was. But Jaws, even in the trailer, it said rated PG, maybe too intense for younger children. So they warned you in the preview. And
it was too intense for me.
And that tagline was something that was true as well. Remember the tagline? Just when you thought it was safe. No, I'm sorry. The tagline for Jaws 2 was just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water.
That was Jaws 2.
That was Jaws 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was great. I know the book's a lot different, but you can't translate a book verbatim into a movie because sometimes that doesn't always work cinematically. But great Father's Day show. We're listening. We're heading up to do a little walking in the woods today, but we're going to be in the car for quite a bit, so we'll be tuning in, buddy.
Thank you, and hey to Mrs. BK, your lovely wife, and I will see you soon. And thanks for having me on as a special guest the last 3 weeks on your radio show on WBHF every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon Atlanta time, and then it's on TuneIn and everywhere you can find your fine podcast because you do the BK replay. And you're on fistfulofradio.com after us. You're on right now on Fistful of Radio as we record this live. Your replay.
You have a happy Father's Day to everybody. Have a super Father's Day. All of them are super, and we'll do it again, man.
Sounds great. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and happy Father's Day to you all. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Barry King, friend of the show. And so is Alan Sanders, his co-host. And Alan has his show on WBHF. It's a great news program on 7 a.m. Atlanta time every day, Monday through Saturday. It's a great news program. He tackles the issues and puts his own spin on what's going on in the news. So getting back to our pre-recorded segment, we're going to wrap up the pre-recorded and go back to full live. I have a lot of extra bonus material for you today in terms of our famous fathers in film and TV. But let's get back to our salute to fathers with Al Hardy and Tom Williams from a year ago.
I apologize about the language, but in that last clip, did you not hear the father-son? I was right, admit it.
Well, no, I did hear that.
Right.
Glenn Ford, I
In
heard
the
that.
next clip, I'll play. Oh, but we have a clip from The Godfather somewhere that Tom has.
Yeah, we do.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we got that.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
What a great line. Marlon Brando, that ties into this next clip I want to play.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
That was from the first one, or is that the first stuff?
The first one.
He has the cotton balls in his cheeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah.
So Marlon Brando's in this scene. This was cut from Superman 2. Listen, real quick. In Superman 2, you never saw how he got his powers back. In the story, he lost his powers. He had to give up his powers to make love to Lois Lane, otherwise he'd rip her apart, right? So in the movie, all they showed when they cut Brando out of him getting his powers back, he finds the green crystal after walking back to the Fortress of Solitude, holds it up to his face, cut. Next thing you know, he's flying to the Daily Planet that the alien villains had invaded, and he says, "General, would you care to step outside?" You never saw how he got his powers back. Here's the cut scene
What's that
that
got to
ties
do with
it.
dads, though?
Because it's father and son. If you listen, like before, have an open mind, I'll prove it to you. And I'm sorry I cussed earlier.
Do you agree with that, Tom?
I don't know, but you know what I always say about it?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
There you go.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
All right, now this is the right.
Listen carefully, my son. We shall
Good
never
Lord.
speak again.
That was your
was
punishment.
If you hear me now, then you have made use of the only means left to you.
He's about to commit suicide. It's
Crystal souls.
God
which are communication.
and Jesus. That's the analogy here.
The circle is now complete.
And this ties into a speech he gave in the
Made
first
a
movie.
dreadful mistake.
When he was about to launch him into space, his son ties into that.
You did this of your own free will, in spite of all I could say to dissuade you. Now you've returned to me for
He's
one
powerless.
last
He's been
chance
beaten
to
up,
redeem
bloody,
yourself.
beaten up by a trucker in a diner.
Finally, I've
How long
anticipated
is
my
this?
son.
Shut up.
5 minutes.
Look at me.
Very funny, you jackass.
Once before, when you were small,
I died.
I died while giving you a chance for life.
Okay.
And now, even though it will exhaust the final energy left within me,
Father, no.
look at me, Kal-El.
It's going to give him his powers back, but it's going to destroy his life force.
The
His
Kryptonian prophecy will be at last fulfilled. The son becomes the father. The father becomes the son.
See?
Farewell forever, Kal-El.
And that's John Williams' music. And Brando used to read cue cards. He would never memorize a script.
I know.
Here we go. Here comes his powers. And this was cut from the film. They restored it in the Donner cut on DVD and Blu-ray in 2006. It had been in storage for decades. So what's happening is, like, he's getting re-energized and Superman's getting his Kryptonian powers back.
Can we stop it now?
Well, okay, but
So
here's the wait. He screams. Here it is. Ah! Here it is. Wait, turn it up.
My son.
Now what's happened was Brando comes out and touches him. His energy, it's cool. Like he comes out of the hologram. You have to see it. I agree.
I didn't
it's
hear
more
him scream.
visual. Well, he screams right here. He goes, no! And he gets his powers back. It's right here.
And we're waiting.
That's
We're
it.
waiting.
Listen, right here. Turn it up.
Here he did.
I think we missed it.
Aw,
No, you didn't.
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker.
I'm sorry.
You know, Chance told me earlier.
I don't give a damn. Frankly, my
Chance
dear,
told me
I don't
earlier
give
in
a
the
damn.
day. He says none of my clips are over a minute.
No, I said one was long. That's not true.
Well, anyway,
Well,
we're
you
done
know-
with those.
well, you know
Who
what?
gives a fuck?
The
You
courtship of
stupid
Rhodey's
idiot.
Father was based on the film with Glenn Ford and Ron Howard. Do you remember that? 1963. 19.
I probably have seen the movie, but I just don't. I don't
Yeah,
remember
right.
it. I don't remember.
Stop the tape. It pisses me off to no end how these guys complain about the length of my clips, yet they will play clips that are 4 and 5 minutes long themselves and not talk over their clips like they talk over mine. Maybe they thought they were trying to be funny. I don't know. Look, I still like these guys as people, but they're very hard to work with creatively. Very hard to work with and very impatient. And when Al says that I only like 3 things, that's a laugh. All this guy likes are movies and his dog. That's it. He doesn't like people, and that's why he lives alone. Sorry to say, but I do like him as a person. And but creatively, it's a nightmare working with this guy. And being ganged up on those two is never going to happen again.
Dad, what do the numbers mean after a lady's name?
Eddie, I am so busy right now.
Says here, 40, 18, 35.
Holy smoke.
That's a Playboy.
It's
a
the
measurement.
numbers game, played by the #1 Bachelor Father of the Year and a galaxy of the hottest numbers you've ever met. A bewitching blonde, a beautiful brunette,
It shows the numbers.
a ravishing redhead.
Of their measurements.
Everything you
Yes.
see here, it's me.
Chest, hips.
Gosh, I think she's lonesome, even with all that red hair.
That's Ronnie Howard.
Yes, that's what I said.
Are you lonely, Dad?
Sometimes.
Then why don't you come right out and ask Dolly to live with us?
I happen to know this living doll.
Jerry Van Dyke.
Everybody's trying to play Cupid for Glenn Ford. First is the girl next door, lovely Shirley Jones.
Ooh, look at her.
Provocative Dina Merrill is a fashion designer who has designs on Daddy.
Oh my God, she's an heiress.
Yeah.
Listen, does he act that way around all
To
your
Merrill
friends?
Lynch.
Well, it depends what they have in mind.
So anyway, it's a great movie. It makes me want to go watch the movie now, which I probably will. You seen that movie, Al?
No, I don't.
The Courtship of Eddie's Father?
I didn't even know it was based on a movie.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
The show.
I may have. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
Bill Bixby played him in the shows you mentioned previously, and then of course he did the Incredible Hulk. As Al said,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
great on TV. Hey Al, and Tom, what do you do when you lose a child?
Ooh.
The grief, like whether it's through war, an accident. I mean,
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
Because unless you're a parent, like I am, unless you're a parent, there's a different kind of. It's a totally different kind of love. Just like I don't love my son as I would love a wife or vice, anything like that. It's a different kind of love, and you can't divorce your child, and your child is yours always. And even if you have a bad child, you still love him. And if you have a good child, of course you love him. But I can't imagine. I really just can't imagine the grief and the sorrow, and how unless you have the Lord in your life to get you through it.
Well said. Well
You
said.
know?
Well, in the movies, it happened to Captain Kirk. I have a 30-second clip. My final clip. Captain Kirk had a son who was killed in Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock.
Of course.
Here's his react. Literally, it's 30 seconds. I want you to hear this.
Shut up, Al.
Get up, I'll play it.
It's the most dramatic acting. It's queued up, clip 5. Okay, it's the most dramatic acting by William Shatner. Even better than the...
How long is it?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Listen, it's
Who
reaction.
gives
He
a
just
crap
says-
how long it
It
is?
says
God,
101.
No, it shouldn't
Here
be.
it
stop the
comes.
tape.
It should be...
This is getting me so frustrated just hearing this from a year ago. Who cares how long it is? Just go with it. Trust me. Trust your partner in the show. I know what I'm doing. Jeez. All right. I vent over. Continuing with the clip from Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, where Captain Kirk's son is murdered by a Klingon.
Clip 5.
Admiral,
Listen,
David is dead.
that's his son. And now Kirk is falling back to his captain's chair, and he misses his chair. He falls. That's what's happening here. He falls to the ground. Here's the good acting by William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk.
Klingon messenger killed my son.
He says it again. Listen to it. He cries.
Klingon messenger killed my son.
Dramatic pause. Take a beat. And then he says...
Klingon bastard.
And then the Klingon, played by
There
Christopher
are 2
Lloyd.
more prisoners, Admiral. Do you want them killed too?
Cut. That's the end. You can.
Wow.
And that was Christopher Lloyd playing the Klingon, who a year later would be Doc Brown in Back to the Future. And he was a great actor as the Klingon. And that was, I think, some of Shatner's best acting as Captain James T. Kirk. When you, combining the old show, the original series, and the movies, I think that was one of the best moments of his acting. And a lot of people argue he's not one of the best actors. I disagree. I think he's subtle. And anyway, I just love that moment where his son has been killed that he had with Dr. Carol Marcus, which was revealed in Star Trek II Wrath of Khan that he had a son named David.
Wow.
And that's Christopher Lloyd, who the next year played the professor in Back to the Future.
Sorry, I forgot.
Professor Marty Brown. Wasn't it Marty? Not your friend.
Well, you know,
Doc Brown.
Doc Brown, yeah.
Bill Shatner had another son in a TV show.
T.J. Hooker?
No.
Denny Crane?
Yeah, Denny Crane. There was
Boston Legal.
Donnie Crane. Donnie Crane.
Play it up.
Donnie Crane.
Well, what happened, Mike?
I panicked.
At that particular moment.
Look, I had a phobic kind of thing about losing control of my life.
That's Donnie
Granny,
Crane.
she picked out the caterer, the church, the minister, the reception hall, and it just hit me. That wedding was a microcosm of marriage, with every decision to be made by her.
Shirley?
Of course.
You seem like a considerate sort of guy, are you?
I think so.
You must have sensed that when you left her at the altar like that, it would be a big number on her. You weren't insensitive to that.
No, but again, what else could I have done?
Well, yes.
But see, Denny Crane and Donnie Crane were against each other in this particular court trial. So, well, of course, toward the end of the episode, they find out that's not really Denny Crane's real son.
Did you watch Boston Legal every week? As I did?
Oh, yes, I did. I love the
David
show.
E. Kelly production.
Yes.
He had some great shows. I like Boston Public before that about the
Yes.
school system.
Yep. And they merged the two. They merged the characters in that show as well.
Did you notice how I was not talking over his clip or complaining about the length or just being an asshole? I wasn't.
Toward the end, they really did. They merged some of them.
And it started to jump the shark a little bit when Candace Bergman joined the cast, in my opinion. But they did have some good chemistry. Her and
It did.
Shatner,
It did.
animosity, and all that.
Yeah, it really did.
Did you watch that, Al?
Yeah, I watched it. It's okay. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that we have missed, you think? I mean, did
Well,
you
there's
think
a-
about
some clips, I
Well,
think.
there's a ton of clips that we have missed, but or a ton of shows we've probably missed. But the overall effect of it's Father's Day,
Right.
And it's all in how you compare the TV dads to your own dad. So, was there any TV dads that you can think of that when you watch the show,
And listeners, last chance to call in with if there's any we missed you want to talk about, 678-615-7560. Sorry, Tom.
I was making a...
No, the phone number is 770-438-1050, and I'm going to open the lines in a little bit in just a couple minutes, and I have some more clips, including one of Andy Taylor that I talked about with our caller a moment ago, Barry King from BK on the Air.
A great statement. And you interrupted me.
Chance is not a good listener.
If we were at my house, you would have gotten the bell.
Oh, suck
anyway,
my...
Anyway, there you go. So anyway, Al, is there any particular TV shows that you can think of that might remind you of your father? That when you watch, you think, "Gee, my dad was like that." Or
Andy Taylor, because he was Taylor. Always he always. When I was scolded for something, he always had a story to tell me why it was wrong, you know. And so I guess probably. How about you?
Yeah, I would have to say Andy, cross between Andy Taylor and Ward Cleaver.
Well, my dad passed away in 1981, so a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did he pass away of?
So, but it just, but
nothing you want to discuss, or
well, my dad passed away too. He passed away in 2008.
No, not too long.
I'm sorry, guys.
So it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And of course, Chance, your father's still with you.
Amen.
Thankfully for that.
Thank you.
So basically, we're thankful for all of our fathers.
All our fathers.
And what they've meant to us and what they've done for us in our lives. Of course, we wouldn't be here without them. And my father loved us dearly. It's just like I'm sure your father did. And your father continues to show his love.
Now you have a sister.
Yesterday.
You have a sister.
I have a sister,
Jackie.
Yeah,
but you don't have a brother. Well, your brother passed away.
My brother
Remember?
passed away.
Yeah, that's right. He passed away last year, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's sad. Now I feel bad cussing these guys.
My father really went through a lot with us, and he managed the storm very well, I must say.
Very good.
My sister probably would call in, but she's in Nag's Head.
Well, she's in a better place. She's having a good time.
She's having a good time. But I would like to close the show.
Well, you
got one more thing, and he's got music for you.
Do you have one more thing? I have one I want to talk about. Do you have
just the contest winner update? But I can do it. Save it for later, or do you want me to do it now and get out of the way?
All right, do your contest winner.
All right, I need to be potted up for this for the music, and we have a winner. The question was supposed to be, who did Al meet in California when he went out there back in '72? And
at a gas station, I pulled up to get gas, and he pulled up on the other side of the pond.
And what kind of car was he driving?
A red Corvette. And it wasn't Prince. It wasn't Prince. He wasn't even around back then.
So Tommy Hill, one of our listeners. Can we pull up the music again? I got it working.
Well, the reason
I know because the Facebook video was going. Here's the music. Here's the music, and boom. So Tommy Hill, you got the season 1 Beverly Hills 90210 set coming because you answered the correct answer. Who Al Hardy met was Al.
Ricky Nelson.
Ricky Nelson, as we mentioned in our Western special. So we have a winner. We'll have a new prize next week, and it'll be another season 1 DVD set of another show. And you guys can pick it. If there's anything you want to win, give us some ideas for prizes. So that's all I had.
Well, I have one more thing. There's a lot going on in this country today, and I, like I said, I have my feelings about everything. But HBO, Ricky Nelson.
Yeah, well,
I'm a traveling man. I'm a traveling man. Lot of stops all over.
You can't say Ricky Nelson. I'm sorry, you're going off on something else, and I interrupted it with Ricky Nelson.
No, Ricky's a great guy, a great singer. He's not around anymore. I'm a pretty sinner.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
HBO Max. I don't have HBO, so it really, but it makes me mad. They have censored Gone with the Wind.
What?
Yeah, they have censored Gone with the Wind. And, they say it's just not politically correct anymore. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. It's just...
Well, nothing's politically correct anymore.
It's the greatest story I think ever put on film. It's a great story. How many millions of books have been sold by Margaret Mitchell? I mean... I've been to her grave over there.
It's Margaret Mitchell House right here in Atlanta.
Yes, I mean,
which is burned down several times itself.
But to ban Gone with the Wind,
and you have it on 35 millimeter film. Hold up for the Facebook viewers.
Here's the laser disc. I have it. Remember the laser disc?
Who could forget that movie poster? Isn't it just embedded in your brain? Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler.
Yeah, look at that.
Required viewing when I was senior in high school, Riverwood High School. Required viewing.
Well, you know, they burned
in
down
English class.
they burned down many classic Hollywood sets because of that movie. The King Kong set comes to mind.
That's what the old
You know what I'm
laser
saying?
disc looked
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
See?
yeah.
But wait a minute, guys! Didn't the first African American Oscar winner win for Gone with the Wind?
Well, Hattie
supporting?
McDaniel. Hattie
Yes.
McDaniel. Yeah,
I know. I just wanted one of y'all to say it. I mean,
yeah, Hattie did.
So what's the controversy? But Al, wouldn't you say? Isn't there an update to the sales of Gone with the Wind? You'd like to?
Yes, Amazon completely sold out of the DVD and Blu-ray. There's none left. They got to restock. And if you go over to eBay, the cheapest DVD is like 50-some bucks.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's just crazy.
Because I don't think. I mean, I think it'll be back. I mean, but
I don't give a damn.
That's right. I don't give a damn. It's just
Well, you know what people learned? It's better to own than stream because the stream can be taken away. The stream giveth
at any time,
and the streameth taketh away. So
Well,
if you own it, you can't be censored.
Well, Gone with the Wind is the kind of movie you don't watch a lot, but you watch it every few years. I mean, it's a long.
Yeah, that's a good point. A listener wrote me and said, "Why are you giving away DVDs? That's old technology. No one has a DVD player." I'll have you know, sir, that there are several articles that show that during the pandemic, DVD and Blu-ray sales spiked. They went up, and obviously it's because of lockdowns and people were at the time locked into their homes. But they could have streamed, right? I think people realized, especially the ones that cut the cord and cut out cable and satellite TV, in favor of streaming with, say, Netflix. Well, at the time, Netflix, for instance, just to make a point here, had Friends and The Office, and at the time before Disney Plus started streaming the all-new Marvel MCU projects like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now Loki and all the others that are coming. I'm sure those numbers are through the roof, by the way. But before that, Friends and The Office were the #1 streamed shows, and they were on Netflix. Well, NBC got into the streaming game, so what happened was you had to subscribe if you wanted to keep watching your favorite shows. Whereas I think a lot of people realize if you just buy the DVD sets, or not that much, you can have them forever, and these streaming companies can't do what I call the shell game, where they will have exclusive content for a period of time on their site. But I mean, that means you have to subscribe to what? Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, HBO Max, man. And then the NBC one, I won't even say what it is because I don't care for that company. I sound like Al, I didn't care for that. But I think it's important to own your own material if you're a movie freak like I am, and TV freak and collector. Let's just say I'm a collector. Well, I am a freak, but I would rather own my material, and same with music too. I still have old tech. I have like a 2015 Audi. Thank God it still has a compact disc player in it, so I can play CDs. But of course, you can transfer this. You can transfer this into your phone digitally on a flash drive. So you can, Bluetooth your music and own it at the same time and still have the modern technology. So I won't mention names, but to that person that contacted me and said, "Why are you giving away DVDs?" That's why, just in a nutshell. And I will continue to do so. Plus, we're a nostalgia show. So, to me, DVDs aren't all that nostalgic. I think of laser discs and VHS as nostalgic. But then again, I'm an old fart. So what do I know? Let's get back to as we wrap up our Father's Day special. And then we'll continue on with some new material here.
Movie, and it's well done. I mean, it's just a great movie. You like it, Tom? You like the movie?
Yeah. It was a very long movie.
And it premiered in Atlanta, right here. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, folks, as everybody
At the Lowe's
knows.
Theater downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Fox has run it almost every part of their summer series. They would air it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great movie. And that was the very first movie when Turner Classic Movies was launched. They ran Gone with the Wind.
It was Ted's favorite. I mean, Ted came down one time.
He named his son Rhett after Rhett Butler.
Well, right after he bought the MGM library, he came down from his palatial suite. It wasn't palatial, but and you tell the story.
Right. I was, when I first got a job at Channel 17, I was a switcher.
How many times
runs the control?
Stop the tape.
I mean, that's just like
master control.
Master control.
How many times is this guy Al going to mention that he worked at Turner back until like 1991? I mean, I respect it and I appreciate it, but come on, man. Oh, who do I sound like there? I mean, you don't need to say that every show, and you don't need to say, "I didn't care for that." Now, I love this guy like a brother, but damn, he's hard to work with.
That's where I worked. And so Ted Turner came down one day one morning, and he had a box of film under his arm from United Artists. And he says, I want you boys to put this on VHS tape. And then Gene Wright was the engineer. He had installed a VHS machine in the studio. And so over 2 days, we transferred that movie onto a video cassette for Mr. Turner.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was just, because then it wasn't available. I mean, it wasn't out on VHS tape. But yeah, it was great memories.
You told me another story that Turner would show it on film because he had a movie theater at CNN Center, and didn't he always have Gone with the Wind running?
Yeah,
Well, one of the theaters.
one of the theaters
was dedicated to Gone with the Wind.
They ran it every day. That was the only movie they ran in that particular. It was the Omni 6, I think it was. Yeah.
And the Turner store had all sorts of memorabilia.
Gone with the Wind stuff, yeah.
It'll come back. I mean, HBO's getting some backlash and cancellations because of that.
Yeah, but just the idea of canceling a movie because they consider it unacceptable today, it's just like
it's a domino effect.
It's just like Warner Brother cartoons. They've taken the gun away from Elmer Fudd.
That's ridiculous.
You know, ridiculous. But yet they have video games for kids to play. Humans are massacred with these guns, so it's just kind of silly. It like the cartoons back in the day. Jack L. Warner, they made these cartoons for adults. They weren't made for children. It's just today they show them on television, but they were made for theaters and they were really made for adults. But
well, listen, I mean, not to be controversial, but if you want to rename something like Aunt Jemima's going away, Uncle Ben's going away, I'm not even going to say what this stands for, but this is their organization, NAACP. You know what the CP stands for? If something needs to be changed, it's that. Enough said.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm all about change because change is always good. But there some things just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Let's complain about nothing. They should also take all these statues that they're tearing down, whether you like them or not, and the government should just take them out and put them in a museum.
In a museum, yeah, that's fine with me.
Like the cyclorama. I'm sorry.
So anyway, yeah, you know what? That's another.
What's going to happen with the cyclorama? They just spent millions to restore that.
A lot of money to restore
at the Atlanta History Center.
I bet it's closed.
Hey, you got a clip of Ted Turner. Looks like.
Well,
am I stealing thunder?
No, you're not.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave you. We want to leave you.
We got to wrap it up. We've gone an hour and 36 minutes.
Wow.
Okay.
So the good Father's Day moment, and it's our good. It's our good friend Ward Cleaver talking.
And thanks for listening and watching on Facebook.
Right.
And we'll talk to you.
Thank you, Facebook. Cats in the Cradle.
Right.
Look it up.
Take care, everybody.
The most interesting character I have ever known is my father, Mr. Ward Cleaver. He does not have an interesting job. He just works hard and takes care of all of us. He never shot things in Africa or not saved anybody that was drowning. But that's all right with me because when I am sick, he brings me ice cream. And when I tell him things or ask things, he always listens to me. And he would use up a whole Saturday to make junk with me in the garage. He may not be interesting to you or someone else because he's not your father, just mine.
I don't know if it sounds so good, Dad, but it sure made me feel good when I was writing it.
I'm glad it did, Beaver. Made me feel pretty good to read it, too.
How long was that clap? Now, back with you live here on the Nostalgic Podblast. Hope your Father's Day is going well. Just reminiscing over last year's Father's Day special. I thought a lot of those clips were really good. And that last one that Tom picked was really well done. I like the piece he did at the beginning that he edited together. That was really, really well done. So, yeah, I talked a little trash, but hearing some of that trash talking of theirs just really ticked me off because I didn't remember it. So, sorry if I was a little harsh. Sorry about the bad language. But let's get back to happier things pertaining to dads. Got some notes here I want to read and some fresh clips. By the way, did you know that yesterday, as we record this, June 19th, 1981, was the 40th anniversary of the movie Cannonball Run? And I'm going to play a little bit of some film footage from Cannonball Run. I just love that movie. It was so funny. What a cast in Cannonball Run. released June 19th, 1981. And here's the original trailer for Cannonball Run.
This is the story of an average guy and a beautiful girl.
Farrah Fawcett.
Hi.
Don't tell me your name. I'll just call you Beauty.
You must be a sensitive person. I bet you're a fan of Rod McEwen's.
I try to be.
And his best friend.
I am Captain Chaos. Been a cop long?
And a family doctor.
Please. Come on right here.
And how they all set out one day in an ambulance from New York to California at 150 miles per hour.
California, here we come.
But they aren't the only ones. Because this is the Cannonball Run, America's illegal Grand Prix. And it doesn't matter how you get there. It's who gets there first. Burt Reynolds is the defending champion. On his team, Farrah Fawcett.
Are you one of those volleyballers?
Cannonball.
Dom DeLuise and Jack Elam. And here comes the competition.
Will you hurry up, you little...
Dean Martin.
We happen to be in a race.
Sammy Davis Jr.
You, Shorty. Where'd you get all that jewelry? Take a left. Left.
Mel Tillis and Terry Bradshaw. Jackie Chan. And Roger Moore as himself.
I'm Roger Moore. Roger Moore.
Punch to the jaw.
Reckless.
We're in kind of a hurry, so if you could just bless it and then we'll be...
Unscrupulous.
Oh, I gotta bless her. I'm sorry, Father. She's a Zen Buddhist.
Desperate characters. By land, by sea, by air. They'll do anything, drive anything, say anything.
It's hard to understand you.
When I called you, I was doing 140 miles an hour.
And stop at nothing.
Normally I drive right around the speed limit.
We all make mistakes, miss. But 160?
To win the Cannonball Run.
Yeah, we're looking good. Come on, faster!
Cannonball Run. The only movie to get over 200 tickets before it even opens.
That's Cannonball. Perfect.
And that's one of the rare movies that had a great sequel too, just like Godfather, Godfather 2, Superman 1, Superman 2. Cannonball Run 2 was just as good. And I love that movie, and can't believe it's 40 years old, but that's a great comedy. It's got to be streaming somewhere. But today, as we record this live on June 20th, excuse me, it's the 46th anniversary of Jaws that we mentioned previously in the Podblast. And here's a little bit of the original trailer of Jaws.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. This is Universal's extraordinary motion picture version of Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, Jaws.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it. You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous, but you let people go swimming anyway.
delicious, huh? What? You yelled shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Is it true that most people get attacked by sharks in 3 feet of water, about 10 feet from the beach?
Yeah. What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine.
We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark.
Bad fish. But I'll catch him and kill him.
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
This shark, swallow you whole.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of them.
Hurry up, he's coming straight for us. Don't screw it up now.
Don't wait for me. Now! Shoot!
What's he tail?
Give him room! I can't! He's trying to run! Oh! Come quick! I can't hold it! Hurry! Break it up! Brody!
None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
Oh, they cut it. I had this on 16 millimeter film. I still do. And the announcer says, rated PG, maybe too intense for younger children. Just, a lot of people say, why do you play trailers? They're visual. Well, not an iconic movie like Jaws, because you know that. Most people know that movie in their brain. They know the script practically. You know what those scenes are and those iconic lines. We're going to need a bigger boat. Just a killer movie. And on our Facebook page, I'm always posting old toys related to movies and foods of yesterday, just things that take you back to better days or times that made you happy. I mean, days might be just fine for you today as they are for me, but it's nice to look back sometimes as we look ahead. And one of the things I look back on today on our Facebook page, the Nostalgic Podblast group, was the Jaws game. It was a game and a toy all in one. It was really neat. It was like a big giant plastic shark, and you had little things you had to fish out of it with a hook. There were bones. There was even a hand, a tire. I just love that game. And little factoid, there's an episode of The $6 Million Man, a Christmas episode called A Bionic Christmas Carol from December 12th, 1976. I believe that's the date it aired. Yeah, on ABC TV. Point being, there's a scene where Steve Austin is shopping for Christmas gifts for some kids that he's looking after. And right there in this scene, when he's shopping on Christmas Eve, you see the Jaws toy and you see the Kenner $6 Million Man action figure. It was like a free plug for the toys they were selling. But I just love that Jaws toy. It was really cool. We're going to get back to Father's Day, but while I'm thinking about it, while I'm doing rants today, I've just gotten off on a rant situation. Something Barry King mentioned, I think it was off the air yesterday when I was on his radio show. We were talking about the lengths of TV shows and how back in the 60s, let's just pick a year, just a random year, 1966. Okay, without commercials, an hour-long show would be 51 minutes and 30 seconds long. Well, guess what it is now? An hour show is 42 minutes long without commercials. I mean, my God, and the commercial breaks, like I was watching Elizabeth Banks host Press Your Luck because I'm a game show nerd, among other things I'm a nerd about. And the commercial break was like almost 5 minutes long, man. With today's ADD society, with Generation Z, and my gosh, I mean, no wonder people are cutting the cord and they're streaming and they're binging and they're DVRing so they can zap past the commercials. I mean, man, TV commercials are in a bad way. I mean, advertisers in terms of television. I know ratings are down. They're down for sports. It's just bad time to be in television advertising. I'm sure it was good during the pandemic, though. I bet they saw a nice spike when everyone was forced to be home. But now that people are enjoying their freedoms again, I think that it's going to go back to the declining track that it was on. But check this out. I made a list here. In 1966, as I mentioned, an hour show would be 51 minutes, 30 seconds long. Then in 1984, it was 48 minutes, 30 seconds long. By 1987, just a few years after that, it was down to 46 minutes long. And then in 1992, 45 minutes. And now, 2002, 44 minutes long. And now, as I mentioned previously, 42 minutes in length. So what that means is when you see a rerun of an old show, say produced in 1966 or 1984, they're going to cut minutes out. That's why I prefer like streaming networks like that air these uncut, like Paramount Plus. They air old shows that are commercial free. I know you have to pay a little extra to see the content without commercials, but that's just such a great way to go. Or owning it, not to contradict myself, because I stream and I buy my own material. I'm a big believer in something I really like. I want to buy it on Blu-ray or 4K. I want to have a hard copy of it because I don't want to be a sucker of the streaming shell game. But streaming, of course, has a lot of pluses. I love binging and I love watching uncut programs. Now, I love MeTV. MeTV is a great over-the-air network like Antenna TV. But Antenna TV, they destroy the end credits. They crunch down the credits and they basically show the beginning of the next program during the end credits, which are like sped up of the last show. And I think that's rotten because I love incidental music and some of the... Oh, speaking of that, Barry King, while we were driving to the studio yesterday, mentioned something very, very interesting to me. Do you remember the CBS movie of the week and that music? When I play it, you'll know. You may not know off the top of your head, but when you hear this music, it will bring back a lot of memories of watching, say, The Wizard of Oz as CBS movie of the week, or the Tuesday night movie. And it would say CBS special presentation. It was kind of blurry logos of letters. Well, that music, I always thought that was original music. Well, Barry King of BK on the Air educated me that no, that's music from Hawaii Five-0. When it would air in reruns late at night, they reworked the music. And this piece of music is called Call to Danger. Listen to this and think of the CBS movie of the week, which CBS recently brought back. So this music has recently been on CBS prime time during the pandemic when they had this. They brought back the Sunday night CBS movie when they played like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Forrest Gump, a lot of Paramount movies. I think they played, it got preempted, but they were going to play Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but it got preempted. Anyway, they played a lot of Paramount movies, Grease, but here's the music. Listen to this. Listen to this. I love that. And it was obviously edited down for CBS, and they would ended that with that little note at the end. Let me see if I can find the CBS movie of the week. Yeah, I can find that right fast quick. But I love the CBS movie of the week, even though they would censor and edit stuff. Let's see here. CBS movie of the week. And Morton Stevens scored that music for Hawaii Five-0. It was just incidental music, like in a chase scene. And someone at CBS edited that together for the intro of the CBS movie of the week. Just a fun little factoid. Let's see. Yeah, CBS special introduction here.
Newlywed Game and Jeopardy are switching times, starting Monday on Channel 7.
They edited it down to that. I think that's badass. I don't know. I'm a music nerd. I'm going to play it again. I just think that's so neat.
Game and Jeopardy are switching times, starting Monday on Channel 7.
Pretty cool. Now, what do fathers do besides provide stability in the home, security? They also provide discipline. They definitely provide discipline. And one of my favorite characters, now, a lot of people get discipline in the home, under the hand of dad, and that's a good thing. And fathers do that out of love. Okay. When you cross the line or get in trouble, they love you, obviously, and they want to make sure you don't make the same mistake again. I think discipline is missing in today's parenting in many cases. But those that didn't get discipline in the home may have found it in the military, in the U.S. military service. And there's a movie I really liked, and I have an awesome clip, at least I think it's awesome, of a great character, Navy Sergeant Mill Foley, from An Officer and a Gentleman, played by Lou Gossett Jr. That's why his picture is behind me, that he signed for me in 2007. He won an Oscar for this performance, and Richard Gere's in the movie, as well as Deborah Winger. It's just a great movie. Sad scene where his friend hangs himself. Anyway, I want to play a scene of some discipline of Lou Gossett Jr.'s character.
I want your DOR.
No, sir.
Some profanity here.
You can kick me out of here, but I ain't quitting.
Get into your fatigues, Mel. By the end of this weekend, you'll quit.
Casey Jones was a son of a bitch.
Casey Jones was a son of a bitch.
Drove his train in a 30-foot ditch.
Drove this train in a 30-foot ditch.
Came on out with a stick in his hand.
Came on out with a stick in his hand.
Said, listen, ladies, I'm a hell of a man.
Said, listen, ladies, I'm a hell of a man.
Went to his room and lined up 100.
Went to his room and lined up 100.
Swore up and down, he'd fuck everyone.
Swore up and down, he'd fuck everyone.
Fuck 98 till the balls turn blue.
Fuck 98 till the balls turn blue.
And he backed off, jacked off, and fucked the other two.
He backed off, jacked off, and fucked the other two.
Wave goodbye to your buddies, Mayo. Oh, I forget you don't have any buddies. Only customers. You having fun, mayonnaise?
Spraying water in his face from a hose.
Hear you. Yes, sir. All right.
Make him do push-ups in a mud puddle.
Get your face all the way down in there.
In the mud.
100.
You ready to quit now, Mayo?
Yes, sir.
Look over there, Mel. Look over there. Look at her. She decided to stay instead of taking liberty on this weekend.
She may not make it through the program, but she got more heart and more character than you'll ever have. And stop eyeballing me, boy.
I sure has dealt you some shitty cards, hasn't it, Mel?
That's right, sir. 6.
Bullshit. I done some checking. I looked through your files. I know about your mama. Hey, don't you eyeball me. You know your father's an alcoholic and a hoe chaser. That's why you don't mesh, Mel. Because deep down, don't you eyeball me, boy. Deep down inside, you know that all these other boys and girls are better than you are. Isn't that right, Mayor? Huh? Isn't that right?
No, sir! No, sir! What's the matter, Mayo? You getting tired? I'm not tired. Move it, boy! This is where the fun starts. Move it! We got all day tomorrow to look forward to. Come on!
6 inches off the ground. Now give me 6 to 90. Hey, Neil, why don't we quit this little charade of yours over a couple of beers over 2 days? Come on, man. You're about as close to being office material as me.
Sir, this candidate believes it would make a good officer.
No way, Mayo, no way. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself. And every one of your classmates knows it. You think they trust you behind the controls of a plane that they'd have to fly in? Come on, man, I picture you as the kind of guy that would zip off one day in my F-14 and sell it to the Cubans, right?
No, sir. No, sir. I love my country.
Sell it to the Air Force, Mayo. Sell it to the Air Force. Talk to me. Now, why would a slick little hustler like you want to sign up for this kind of abuse anyway?
I want to fly jets, son.
My grandmama wants to fly jets.
I wanted it since I was a kid.
We're not talking about flying here. We're talking about character.
I've changed. I've changed since I've been here.
Hell, you have.
I've changed, sir.
No, you just polished up your act a little bit. You just shined it up. Now tell me what I want to hear. I want your DOR.
No, sir.
I want your DOR.
I ain't gonna quit.
Spell it. D-O-R.
I ain't gonna quit.
Yeah, then you can be free, and you and your daddy can get drunk and go hole chasing together, huh?
No, sir.
DOR.
I ain't gonna quit.
All right, then you can forget it. You're out.
Don't you do it. Don't you. I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else. I got nothing else.
All right, Mayo. On your feet. Come on, Mayo, let's get back to the barracks.
Zach, don't give up. You got that queer on the run. Gas this, boy.
Hang in there, Zach. Remember the Tyson.
Good friend to you again.
Don't give up the ship, Mayo.
Yes, sir.
We're with you, Zach.
Don't quit, Zach. You can make it.
All right, move. You got some urinals to clean. Move out.
Hey, Foley's the queer. He got his balls shot off in the floor.
It's a great movie, and it's a testament to how discipline can turn your life around. And that movie was released July 28th, 1982 by Paramount Pictures. And it's one of my favorites. And Lou Gossett wound up winning an Oscar, and there's a great fight scene. You probably remember it. I won't give it away for those that haven't seen it. But you younger folks out there like Wesley, see An Officer and a Gentleman. That is just a fantastic film. And here's a little bit of Lou's acceptance speech. And check this out. Christopher Reeve and Susan Sarandon are calling the nominees here.
Reveal the winner for the best performance by an actor in a supporting role.
It's brief.
The nominees are Charles Durning for The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Louis Gossett Jr. in An Officer and a Gentleman.
John Lithgow in The World According to Garth.
That was a weird movie. Robin Williams.
James Mason in The Verdict.
Paul Newman, The Verdict. Sally Field.
And Robert Preston in Victor Victoria.
It's funny, Chris, but two of those performances could have been performed by women.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to say that this year's Oscar Derby is partly a drag race.
Not exactly. Okay.
Okay,
the winner is...
You better do that.
I would be glad to. Thank you very much.
The winner is Louis Gossett Jr.
You know, when you prepare a speech, it's no use because it's all gone. I tried to get my kid to come up here to share this with me, but there are some special people I would like to share this with. Specifically, tomorrow is the 17th anniversary of my relationship with my one agent, Mr. Ed Bondi. They say marriages don't last. I've got a spirit that guides me, starting with my great-grandmother who died at the age of 117, and my mom and dad, who I know are watching, and my cousin Yvonne, thank you. You make everything fall into place. And all you other four guys, this is ours. Thank you.
Lou Gossett Jr. And then he went on to do Jaws 3D right after that. He was working on that film when he won that. And that's just a terrible movie, but it was pretty good in 3D. I must say, at the time anyway. But it's not a very good movie. But I love Lou Gossett's character, and that's just a testament to the need for discipline. Now, let's talk about Andy Taylor, who was brought up earlier in the show by Barry King and Al Hardy and Tom Williams. His very first appearance was on an episode of The Danny Thomas Show, which was renamed Make Room for Daddy in reruns. And this aired on The Danny Thomas Show February 15th, 1960. The Danny Thomas Show ran for 11 years. It started on ABC and then went to CBS and then went back to ABC when they revived it, Make Room for Granddaddy, for just a season in 1970-71 with Angela Cartwright. They brought her back. She played little Linda. There were two kids, Rusty and Linda, and Danny married Marjorie Lord's character as the show progressed after his original wife died. So anyway, I want to play a little bit of the first appearance of Andy Griffith as Andy Taylor, Sheriff Andy Taylor. The Andy Griffith Show spun off from the Danny Thomas Show. So here's a little bit of the first appearance of Andy Taylor, Sheriff Andy Taylor, and Opie's in it. He's driving through this, what he thinks is a hick town,
Just don't worry about it. That's all. I'll take
and he gets
care of it.
stopped right here, right out of the gate,
Picked on the wrong guy. Listen,
by Sheriff Andy
you'll
Taylor.
be mighty sorry you brought me back into town, I'm telling you. You picked on the wrong guy this time, Clem.
Name ain't Clem, it's Andy. Andy Taylor. Have your driver's license?
Yeah, you can have my driver's license. You'll kindly take a look at my name. You'll discover that I'm somebody.
What a jackass.
Well, you know I knew that the minute I laid eyes on you. Yes, sir. I never seen a car yet that wasn't being driven by somebody.
Look, you want to ad-lib with me, Hayseed?
Honey, why don't you stop arguing? After all, you did go through a stop sign.
But there was no road there. Whoever heard of a stop sign where there's no road?
Well, now, the town council did vote to put a road in there. I believe it about 6 years ago, I believe it was. Only trouble is, so far, we just raised enough money for the stop sign.
It's just a tourist trap, that's all. Just a tourist trap. Soak the poor city slicker. Wait till I get in front of the Justice of the Peace. I'll give him a piece of my mind. I'll tell him what kind of an officer he's got working for him. A Jesse James with a badge.
Typical New Yorker.
You can tell the Justice of the Peace if you want to.
Well, I reckon I won't do.
Well, he's a fair-minded kind of a fella, and if he figures that I did wrong, why, he'll probably tell me off pretty good.
That'll be music to my ears, too. Look, where's the Justice of the Peace? Let's get it over with. I got a few things I'd like to say to him.
Well, now, Mr. Williams, you better simmer down there a little bit. You better not be flapping your lip at the Justice of the Peace the way you've been doing at me, because you'll liable to hurt the dignity of his office, you know. And when the dignity of the Justice of the Peace's office gets hurt, why, the size of the fine is where the swelling shows up.
Absolutely right, then.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, honey, why don't you pay the fine and let's get on our way?
Not before I have said what I've come to say to the Justice of the Peace. Now, where is he? Let's get going here.
Well, now, just easy. Don't get excited. He'll be along in just a tiny old second.
It's him. He's also the Justice of the Peace in that small town, Mayberry.
Court's in order. What you complain?
This whole thing is a farce. If the sheriff who arrested me and the judge who tries me are the same man, how am I going to get a fair trial?
Why, the fairest trial in the world. After all, now, just tell the truth. Who is in a better position than me to tell whether that fine, tall, honest, good-looking young sheriff of ours really does tell the truth.
What are you laughing at?
I don't know, honey. It just strikes me funny.
Well, that doesn't strike me funny.
Oh, hello, Will. I'm under arrest.
That's like Otis the Town Drunk, the forerunner to Otis the Town Drunk. He locks himself in the jail and basically throws away the key and collapses on the bed.
Well, that's Will Hoople, Town Drunk.
Why did you come in here? And
Oh, see, I don't know for how long. I used to have to arrest Will every day for being drunk on the public streets, and, well, it just got to be a nuisance for both of us. So one day I caught him accidentally sober, and I says, Will, this arresting you for being drunk all the time is just cutting into my time, something terrible. So I says, how about me just deputizing you so you can arrest yourself? That's what we done. Yes, we done that, and it's worked out fine for both of us. And I must say that he's never let me down. No. Drunker than a skunk every single day.
he's always been like that?
No, just since his pa died.
Oh, the poor fella. You mean his father's death drove him to becoming the town drunk?
No, not exactly. See, before he passed on, his pa was the town drunk. So you see, the position just wasn't open.
Look, if we get this small-town chit-chat over with, I gotta get back to New York. You know, I'm an entertainer, and I'm on a famous interview program, Ted Parker's Face to Face.
Is that right?
That's television, but I'm sure you haven't heard about television on East
Typical
Park.
arrogant New Yorker.
Fine, let's get going here.
Oh, ordinary case of this kind, $5.
$5, fine, that'll be fine.
Ooh-wee, that's quite a roll you got there.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is.
You always carry that much
that
money?
has nothing to do with it. Did you say $5? They got a $5 bill right there. Here you are.
Now, sometimes even 10.
Here, be my guest. 10, big deal. And here's another 5. Go buy yourself a comb and rake the hayseed out of your hair.
Ooh, what a jerk.
You know what's the truth? I got me a feeling this is kind of a special case.
What?
Yes, sir.
What's that?
So that'll just be $100 or 10 days in jail.
What?
Well, that's about the size of it.
It's highway robbery, that's what it is. You just said yourself the average case is 5, maybe 10.
Well, I don't believe this is an average case.
No, because I'm not carrying an average bankroll. Well, you're not going to get away with it, buddy. You're just not going to get away with it. No, I am going to expose you.
Expose me?
Yes, sir. When I get back to New York, I'll expose you to the press, to the newspapers. That's right. Call a paper right here if you had one in this little hickville.
You know that we have?
What?
We got a outstanding paper here. Mayberry Gazette.
Mayberry Gazette.
That's right.
I demand to make a phone call. I have a right to make a phone call. Even a murderer has a right to one phone call.
Well, help yourself.
I do, thank you.
Yes, sir. Want to sit down?
Thanks a lot. I don't mind. Never mind, honey. There's a principal involved here. I'll tell him what a crooked politician you are. I'll break you, that's what I'll do. Hello, operator.
Name's Sarah.
Hello, Sarah. Would you please get me the Mayberry Gazette, please? The Mayberry Gazette. I'll show him. There never was a crooked politician that could fight the press. Lover, will you please leave me alone?
Mayberry Gazette, editor speaking.
Well, anyway, Ted, this imitation Wyatt Earp hits me with $100 or 10 days. And that's why I can't be on your TV show. No, I sent the wife and kid down ahead. Ted, you're as bad as my wife. It's not the $100. It's the principle of the thing here. I will not be intimidated by this backwoods racketeer with a badge. He's sitting right here, holding a knife on me. Get the story to the newspapers, will you? Better yet, tell it on your TV show. What? Oh, Teddy. Oh.
I'm going to cut this clip in a second. I just want to play a little bit of Ron Howard's first appearance as Opie.
Oh, what an idea.
This New Yorker starts to see the error in his ways.
Oh, you are a genius. Oh, that'll be sensational. You'll win an award for that. I'll see you. Oh, are you in trouble?
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't need your Mayberry Gazette to expose you. I have got a television show 40 million people are going to know about you, buddy.
Is that a fact?
That's right. We're going to do the face-to-face show right from this jail. You're going to be on TV, too.
Oh, no. You go ahead, but I can't talk on that thing.
You can't talk. I'll talk to both of you.
Good. Go. Miss Bolivar. Come on.
Here he is.
This is the third day in a row that you didn't eat most of your supper.
I ate the bread and drank the water.
But look, Jan, you didn't eat the turkey, nor the dressing, nor the blueberry muffins. Look at that. You know, you're liable to walk out of here skinnier than you come in, and that sure is bad advertising for me.
There's nothing compared to the bad advertising you're going to get when that television crew rolls the equipment in here, and we go on TV, and I tell the whole nation what an ornery, greedy critter you are. And no amount of turkey, the sweet potatoes, or anything else are going to get me to take it easy on you. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's a draft in here.
That boy's a sight. Oh, Opie, what is it? Wilfred, what in the world is the matter with him?
He's dead. He's been murdered. That's what murdered.
Oh, Opie. Now, I wouldn't hardly think that. As long as I've been knowing Wilfred, I never did know him to have any enemies.
I was in the ice cream parlor, and Mrs. Bolivar stepped on him, and she didn't even stop. Just kept on walking.
Hit and run, huh? Said as Miss Bolivar?
I want you to arrest her, Pa, and we'll give her a fair trial.
You can't take it out on Miss Bolivar just 'cause you feel bad. She didn't mean it. I expect it was just Wilfred's turn to go. And we have to learn to live with our sorrows, boy. I learned that when you was just a little bitty speck of a baby. When I lost your ma, just like you lost Wilfred here.
You did?
That's right.
Who stepped on Ma?
Well, I didn't mean it just that way, old thing. Now you dry up them eyes there. Dry 'em up good. And tomorrow morning, before sunup, I'll go down to the creek and I'll get you a new turtle.
I don't want a new turtle. I want Wilford.
No, now, you can't be that way.
You didn't get a new Ma.
No, I didn't. I tell you what, boy. This evening after I get home from work, we'll take Wilfred out, and we'll give him the finest barrel any turtle ever had. I'll make a long, sad talk over it, sing a couple of songs, and then we'll barbecue some ribs. And I'll tell you a tale about how a turtle, one time way back off up in the mountains, beat a rabbit in a foot race. Now, how's that set with you?
That's just fine, Pa.
All right, now you go on home and tell Aunt Lucy I says to give you a great big old bottle of pop to drink, you hear?
Gee, thanks, Pa. Bye.
Bye. Now act like somebody.
I will.
So Danny Thomas
Fun, huh?
comes out of his unlocked
Yeah,
prison.
I got that one boy.
Cute.
Well, much obliged.
Kids, they sure can be a lot of trouble, can't they?
Yeah, they can sometimes, but the kind of trouble a fella kind of gets a lift out of wrestling with.
Listen, Andy,
Hmm?
I've been thinking, look, why don't we settle this thing? You bring the fine down to something reasonable, and I'll find out a way to cut off this face-to-face TV show. What do you think?
You wouldn't be trying to blackmail me, would you, Mr. Wilson? Well, see, the fine for
Never mind. I'm sorry I brought it up. Being my old sentimental heart. Well, just forget all about it. Wait till I get on TV. I'm going to tear you apart.
Why, Henry Anna Perkins, how?
You get the point. That was a long clip, but a great one that shows the softer sides of dads. Along with the discipline is the heart, and the discipline All comes from the heart. Um, I do want to announce, let's see here. Thought I had one more for you guys. Yes. I just love Andy Taylor and the Andy Griffith Show, and they spawned so many great shows like Gomer Pyle, USMC, and of course Mayberry RFD.
Lost in Space.
Here we go.
Brought to you by
Here's what I wanted to play for you.
Lost in Space will continue after station identification.
Not that. This. The one more thing, we still have the contest going on. Going to sign off here in a second, but don't forget, we're giving away on DVD. Hey, I know I'm going to get more comments from people saying, why are you giving away DVDs? No one can play DVDs. Well, then don't enter the damn contest, sir. But we're giving away every episode ever made of Lost in Space on DVD. Hard copies you can have for your grandkids or your kids or for yourself. And it's on these DVD sets. They're in plastic. I'm holding up for the camera the season 1 set. The season 2 set, which is separately, not in one set. They split them up. And the season 3 set. All you have to do is answer this question. What episode of Lost in Space talked about the concept of the hyperdrive and starships? It wasn't the very first episode. There was a specific episode where the concept of the hyperdrive that George Lucas borrowed with the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive in the Star Wars movies. But that's all you got to do is let me know the episode title, and it's not something you can easily Google. You have to know it or know someone that knows the show. This music, by the way, is by John Williams, who scored E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, Superman, and he did TV shows, and he did the movie Valley of the Dolls. He did one of the songs in that, My Own Little Place. Anyway, but all you have to do is let me know the episode title of Lost in Space. Just comment or send a message, and all of the episodes will be yours, including the unaired pilot, which is pretty cool. Got a quick correction. Last time we talked about TV shows that lasted 2 seasons or less, and I talked about The Ropers, the spinoff of Three's Company, and I said that it lasted 22 episodes. That's wrong. It lasted actually 28 episodes, and I knew that. 22 episodes was how many episodes they taped for season 2. There were 6 episodes in season 1, which was like a winter replacement spinoff show at the end of the 78-79 season in the spring of 79 that aired. So there's a total of 28 episodes. Just want to correct that. I never want to put any fake news out there or information that's not correct. And want to mention Loki, like we talked about before. It's going strong. I think I don't want to give anything away. This is a spoiler-free zone, but even if you don't know the comic books, in the episode 1 of Loki, it sort of wraps things up. It has a nice little prologue that sums up where we are to this point very concisely. And the episodes are only like 40, 41 minutes long. It's a really good thing to stream on Disney Plus. And let's see. Kung Fu was another good show that talked about discipline. And there's a fatherly character in that. And that was a really cool show. I know for a fact that Quentin Tarantino was a big fan of Kung Fu. And I bought, starting in 1995, one by one, I bought every episode of The Fall Guy with Lee Majors on uncut 16mm film. This is how TV shows used to air on TV stations back before they switched to videotape, and now everything's digital, of course, but they used to run actual film prints to air reruns of old shows. So I bought up all the Fall Guys from a guy, primarily most of them came from a guy in Madisonville, Tennessee. And we would talk on the phone in the 90s, early 2000s, and he told me that Quentin Tarantino was buying up every episode of Kung Fu from him. He goes, it's funny, you're buying the Fall Guys, and he's buying all the Kung Fus. But Kung Fu is a great, great show, whether you like the martial arts or not. I highly recommend it, and starred, of course, David Carradine. And what a terrible fate he had, dying in, Bangkok. God, self-inflicted. Terrible thing. But this is Father's Day. I want to give a salute to all the dads out there, and a salute to my dad. We had a great time today, our family, my niece, nephew, sister, brother-in-law, ma, dad, everybody. We just had a really good time. My brother-in-law's mom. Really nice Sunday. I hope your Father's Day was great. If you're listening on fistfulradio.com, obviously I'm live on Father's Day, and that was a week ago. But, I think we should salute our dads every single day. As Barry said, who lost his dad, remember your dad. Tell your dad that you love him every single day that you can, because no one is promised it tomorrow, and life is very short. So we're also doing something kind of cool. If you like this show, we were on the radio on WTZA Atlanta, 50,000 watt AM station for a while with the Nostalgic Podblast when I was on there with Al and Tom. Al and I at first, and then Tom joined us. And these episodes weren't done on video like we do now on Facebook Live and YouTube. So what I'm doing is I'm doing like I did today with the Father's Day show from last year, where I'll do like a live wraparound. I'm going to do it, I think, on YouTube Live, though, because I don't want to like invade your feed. Most people are here just for the nostalgia stories, the pictures. They're not really here for the show, and I understand that at the Nostalgic Podblast group. That's why I give away prizes, so you can tolerate the live feed that sometimes pops up once a week. So what I'm going to do is do like a replay and get caught up. There's about 9 Nostalgic Podblasts that were not saved on video properly or entirely, or they had audio glitches. So I'm going to redo them once a week. And I call that the Nostalgic Podblast Flashback. And I put our very first episode, which was only 41 minutes long, that I did with Al Hardy 2 years ago. We just had our 2-year anniversary last week. And that's on YouTube now. Our YouTube channel is The Nostalgic Podblast, just like our Facebook group, The Nostalgic Podblast. Please join the group. You don't have to answer any questions. You're not censored. You're not bogged down with a bunch of dumb rules. No, it's just a place to have fun and kick back and enjoy our nostalgic days of growing up and the way things were. We talk about foods. I post things all the time that are just basically a flashback. So this coming week, I don't know when it'll be. It'll be sometime in the evening on YouTube. I'm going to re-air our radio version of the Nostalgic Podblast 3 with the Honeymooners. And here is a quick promo to that.
Are you old enough to remember this?
You are a blabbermouth! A blabbermouth! You! Blabbermouth! Out!
If you remember that, tune in Saturday at 2 p.m. for the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast. This week, the classic sitcom The Honeymooners and the comedy great of Jackie Gleason is remembered. Join us for interviews with the stars, classic clips, and tons of laughs. Plus your phone calls. That's the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast. Saturdays at 2 p.m. right here on Talk of Atlanta, WTZA 102.1 FM, 1010 AM, and talkofatlanta.com.
It was a really good show about the Honeymooners, and I think you'll really like it. Unfortunately, we didn't do it on video. Let's see here. And then the one on game shows is one I'm really proud of, and that's already up on YouTube. That was our second Pod Blast, and that was a really, really good show in my opinion. So let me see if I can find before I sign off here. Well, it's okay. I'll get it for next time. There was something I wanted to share with you, but we're running out of time. I want to just say thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I got a great topic for you next time, and hoping to be back in Al's studio. I don't know if that's going to happen now because I sort of vented some hostilities today, but I still think the world of Al, and he is working on his studio. That's truly been the main issue of why I've not been in his studio, and we hope to have that up and running again. And I've got some guests lined up, and I'm going to reach out to a great guest who was on before. Now that I have some better audio, I want to re-interview him. And I have another guest who worked in many television shows that's coming up that I can't announce just yet that I just booked. I'm really excited about. And hopefully I'll be back on BK on the Air on WBHF Saturdays 10 a.m. to noon with the host Barry King and Alan Sanders. They do a great job. And tune into Alan's morning show. You can go to WBHF's website to stream it, or just go to TuneIn, and he's on starting at 7 a.m. with his great take on the headlines in the news. So I'm Chance Bartels. We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll catch you next time on the Nostalgic Podblast. Happy Father's Day, everybody.